Boys, we are back for another episode of Parlay Madness. And as you can see, we got my man JB in the middle, and we got a special guest. You already know who that is. Liam Picks Fights here for a special edition. We all been kicking back, watching the PFL. It was a good event, but at the end of the day, boys, the UFC is the number one organization in MMA. So we had to come back right after the main event to give you some banging parlays. I know my man Liam is not as much of a parlay man as someone like myself, but I'm sure you're going to have some great takes for us regardless. So shout out to everyone for being in the chat. We've already got 36 people here, so thank you for spending your time with us after a long PFL event. That was actually pretty exciting. You know, we were speaking right before we came on here to say PFL was actually quite exciting this week, which we're not usually saying. So Liam, say what's going on to the people and let me know how you thought of the PFL event and what you think of this UFC event this weekend.
Absolutely, brother. I have been dialed in with my research the last couple weeks in terms of having some good results, but also just trying to get ahead, like getting my UFC 314 stuff done. Today we had some PFL and I just watched as a fan, had a great time doing so. But ultimately, it's just about the love of the game, man. I'm feeling the passion for fighting these days, and Lord willing, we can keep finding winners this week.
Let's go. And JB, you need no introduction. The man who trademarked the pack himself, the MMA pack. How you doing, brother? You doing good on this Thursday night for you, I believe?
It's Friday. Yeah, we got like 30 minutes left, 40 minutes left on April 3rd. But yeah, let's get this. I'm hyped, dude. I wasn't expecting the third guest. Now we got my guy Liam in here. It's going to be a good week. It's over. It's over for the bookies.
It's over. And I will say that Liam actually introduced me to you initially. So the first podcast we ever did together was on Liam's show, back in the day, where we all played Drickus Duplessis plus 300 over Robert Whittaker. That was a community cash for us three. And then obviously we ended up doing the Parlay Madness like a year after that. So shout out to Liam, introduced me to the man JB. And yeah, without further ado, might as well get straight into the card, boys. I'll bring my screen up now. And I think we should let our guest take away this one, JB. So we got Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Talita Alencar, apparently the first fight of the night. You got any takes on this one? This is a little bit of a divider this week, as I've heard. I know people on both sides.
Man, this might actually be the two women that were like born to fight each other, right? You have on the one side Vanessa Demopoulos. She's ran out there 8 times in the UFC. She's outlanded 2 opponents on total strikes in that time and put up a 5-3 record. Unbelievable if you think about it that way. One time she's outlanded an opponent on significant strikes. She's not very reliable to actually do more work than her opponent, but the visuals are there. The enthusiasm's there. She just finds a way to win these fights when they're close, when they go to the scorecards, when they're competitive, when they're in Las Vegas. And we're back in Las Vegas once again this weekend. We've got Talita Alencar, who, in my opinion, you know, people are looking at Jacqueline Amarim, who's a excellent, grappler, but also a great athlete, a great finisher. She's finished all of her professional wins. Talita Alencar struggled to finish some of her regional opponents, hasn't finished anybody that's UFC level in her career. So for me, there's a lot of assumptions being made. Like if she gets her down, it's going to be easy work. And I was just like, I think Amarim was honestly struggling a little bit. That's why she grabbed the glove. She was starting to lose position. I don't think Demopoulos is a great bottom player, but I think the enthusiasm's there, the experience is there, the cardio's there. And those are the kind of boxes I'm looking to check. So I'm not going to play this because it's not plus money and it is a shitty low-level women's MMA fight where the margins are thin. But if you just said what is the distinguishing factor here? I mean, Vanessa Demopoulos, I think, is going to try harder for longer. And I think she's more aggressive in general. So yeah, I like her side slightly, but if she's not plus money, I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, I understand, man. This fight for me is kind of the same, you know, like how you said it's a pass unless you get plus money. And even if you get plus money, I'm not rushing to bet any of these fighters. You know, if it's big plus money, if it's plus 130s, 40s, but it's never going to get there. Maximum we're getting is 105s or 110s. And I can easily stay away from this fight. Low level fight. I think the takedowns are there for Alencar. I don't think anyone can watch tape on these fighters and think that the takedowns are not there for Alencar. So in one sense, it's a good matchup for Alencar because, you know, I don't think Demopoulos is going to be stuffing takedowns like Luciano. And even if she does, she's not as good on the feet as Luciano, you know? So it's like, I think that Alencar will have good early success in this fight. I just don't know whether she can string it out over 3 rounds because she's gassed out before in the UFC. She's gassed out more than once before in MMA. And Demopolis it's got a good gas tank. You know, she's got a good gas tank. She'll come forward, like you said. She has enthusiasm, and when you're going up against a girl who I don't see as much of a blood and guts fighter in Alan Carr, we could potentially see Demopolis start to turn the tides after Alan Carr takes her down a couple of times. It's just a very volatile fight for me. You know, I feel like early Alan Carr, late Demopolis, and what that usually means in women's MMA, where they don't have a lot of finishing upside, is that it's going to be a 50-50 split decision. You know, so that's kind of what I see this fight playing out in. Maybe, you know, it's low level enough to where someone could get a submission. You know, Demopolis is a little bit sneaky, but man, Alan Carr's pretty decorated in jiu-jitsu herself. So I think unless she gasses, she probably ain't going to succumb to, you know, a submission or maybe a ground and pound TKO. So yeah, 50-50 fight in my eyes. I can't even call a winner. I'll say Alan Carr gets the win. I'll say that she wins the first 2 rounds with top control, gasses out in round 3, gets beat up probably worse than she beat Demopolis up in round 1 and 2, but it's not enough to get her the decision. So yeah, that's my prediction of the fight. JB, you seeing this fight going any other way?
Yeah, I mean, I generally tend to agree with you that this one probably plays out pretty close. I think maybe a live bet on Vanessa Demopoulos could be the way to enter on this spot. Like you said, we've seen Alan Carr in the past gas out in these fights. If the fight doesn't start to go her way, she definitely starts to slow down, and she looks god-awful in the stand-up. So it's hard for her to set up her takedowns. Honestly, I think this is a Vanessa Demopoulos spot. It could be a close one, maybe a split decision. But even versus Murata, when people didn't think she won that fight, it was a unanimous. So I don't want to get too tricky. I'll probably just take Vanessa money line here. And I think if you wait, we might see some Alan Carr love. You could possibly get a plus money number on her. So, yeah, like my boy Liam says, what is it again? What's the saying?
Never fade a stripper in Las Vegas, baby.
That's it, bro. Bang.
All right. So a little bit of a stronger take than me. So I don't know if this is a parlay fight, but if we think there's any plus EV legs, we can put it in a parlay. I'm sure the over is going to be juiced to fuck. If you boys can maybe bring up the odds and let me know.
Oh, okay. You got it right there. I got fight odds up, and then I got DraftKings and FanDuel up as well. So whatever you want me to. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to parlay this one, though, right? The over is... The
GTD is minus 400 on Bet Online on fight odds.
Probably not worth it. You know what? We could bang in a parlay for the crazy Lou and the Jew and the Liam. We got to think of the nickname for you. Lou and the Jew and the Lee. I don't know, man. Liam. Lou, Jew, and
my
Liam.
Alter ego.
Real ones, no Liam. But yeah, maybe we could put something crazy like Vanessa Demopoulos round 3 in a parlay. I don't know about that, but what's the odds on that, JB? Just for the people, not for the parlay, but for the people.
I'm seeing plus 1,600 on Bet Online, but I could look on FanDuel. That's usually where I have the best odds at.
I think we can get way better than that. You know, Bet Online are notorious. They had Jeremy Kennedy points plus 550 today, and his money line was plus 600. So that tells you all you need to know about good old Bowl.
Plus 2,800.
Yeah, there we go. Double, almost. So I'm going to write this down because I think it's plus EV. I honestly do. I think, give her a little bit more of a chance to... I mean, Vanessa's aggressive when she gets on top, man. And like I said, I kind of think Alan Carr will gas out in this fight. So not really parlay, but...
She has a knockdown in the UFC as well. I think people forget that. 1 submission win, which is more than Alan Carr in the UFC, but...
I was there for that one with my guy, the dude, Olivas. I guess he coached her. That was a crazy one because she got dropped in that one. And then I was in the crowd. She got dropped, and then she wound up right in an arm bar. And that was
reverse Uno card on Silvana Gomez Juarez. Who could forget?
All right, boys. So we'll move along. Hopefully we have some better parlay legs in subsequent fights. And I think we do. And to be honest, I don't know if any of you guys done a tape for this one. Obviously, it's a very short notice fight. Kennedy pulled out, I think, less than 24 hours ago. Less than 12 hours ago, maybe. And so I don't have any take on this one. I don't know who this guy is. Hopefully you guys can. So, JB, do you know this dude?
No, but I want to watch his film and see if he has any grappling. Because I think if Boudet, takes this fight to the ground, this guy, UFC debutante, sometimes I like to fade those guys by sub. So, could be something I just try to look at when I do film.
Liam.
I have not taped it yet, but I did do my preliminary research to just get an idea of who this guy is. He's a light heavyweight LFA champion. He's been scheduled 5 rounds twice in a row now in the LFA, which I think is promising. He was also scheduled for 5 and won another regional title in an organization I've never heard of. I'm guessing a little bit more local to his scene. But if you look at the guy, big guy, 6'4", pretty intimidating frame. The thing is, though, he is fighting a bunch of guys at light heavyweight that he's bigger than, and I do think he's now taking on a guy who's going to be roughly the same size as him. So it's not an easy UFC debut, but I'm just not a Martin Buday guy. So for me, it's going to be a question of, do I like anything about Uran or do I leave this fight alone? In all likelihood, I thought Kennedy Nzechukwu was going to kill Martin Buday. I loved his interviews this week. I'm gutted that he's pulling out of this fight, but I'm glad that he did, because I saw conflicting market information. I saw the under getting cracked, and I saw the goes to decision getting cracked. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, how are they moving this in both directions? And then the fight gets pulled. So maybe that's why.
Yeah, bet on. I'm sure that was Bet Online, right? Bet Online strikes again.
Yes,
very, very. Hey, shout out to Bet Online, man. They're a good book, to some degree, but they do some crazy things. Their algo doesn't work. So, a lot of bookies will have an algorithm to where if one fighter gets bet, they're automatically correlated to a certain over, right? Or an under. They're correlated to a total. So if they get hit, the total will get hit. And it's the same with their KO or decision or sub prop. So Jeremy Kennedy, him pushing out to plus 600, automatically the algorithm should push his points to above 600. It's impossible not to, right? But it doesn't work. So it just stays at plus 550 and they do stupid stuff. Like the under gets hit, but the goes to decision also is growing. It doesn't make sense. But so I actually, just for the people, I actually thought that, but they had some chance in the Kennedy fight. He was plus 330, right? So obviously I was being tricked into the line in terms of outright picking. I thought Kennedy should be minus 200 or something. So I had some interest on plus 330. JB, just out of curiosity, did you have any prediction on the Buday Kennedy fight?
Look, bro, you can't bet Kennedy at minus 300 in the UFC versus a proven heavyweight. I know he's not got the best level of wins, but that's where I was at with that one. Simple as that.
Yeah, I felt the same, man. We'll move on to the next one, boys. But first, I want to just do a little shout out to the chat because I haven't in a while. Chris Jones saying the boy is here. Always waiting for your show every week. I appreciate that. My man Stacking Cream saying we had a good he sprinkled Kennedy round 1-2 KO. Man, that one fucking hurt. That was definitely close. We got my man Daz Files. He's in the park in Australia. It's a lovely day, a day for Parlay Madness. Let's go. Uncle Philly cashed every bet except for the Kennedy bullshit. Justice for Jeremy Kennedy, you already know. My guy Liam getting a bunch of shout outs in the chat. VB, me and you just went back to back on VB, so shout out VB as well. Man, come on, don't say who the fuck is this guy. If you guys don't know Liam, bro, come on, man. No disrespect in the chat, buff. Come on, Liam's the man. He's been at it for a long time now. We got Z Picks, my man, saying Kennedy KO is going to be something. Yeah, it is what it is. Buddy had him shook. I would be shook as well if I had to fight that 400-pounder. But yeah, speaking of 400-pounders, these guys are very, very small. Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. I don't have a strong take on this one. I just think it might be too much of a step up too quick for Pedro Falcao. Victor Henry, in my opinion, has fought this style many, many times in his career. Now, yes, you can say stuff like, Pedro has a few, no fight is the exact same, right? So I'm sure Pedro has a couple of things that Victor maybe hasn't seen, but this guy's a veteran of the sport, man. 24 wins, 7 losses. He's been in there with very, very high-level competitors, even before the UFC. Tough regional scene guy. Went to war in the regionals many times before he got called up to the UFC. And has got good wins in the UFC. I mean, Gravely's a decent win. Raoni Barcelos is a good win. Many years before, that was 3-4 years ago now. And obviously, at that point, Raoni was kind of, doing his thing. So I think Victor Henry has got enough defensive wrestling, and I do think that's where the fight comes down to keep the fight on the feet. And if he does keep the fight on the feet, can't really project Falcao to, win the fight. Now, could he crack Henry? Yes. Is he kind of dynamic? Is he fast at times? Yes. But I got to trust Henry over 15 minutes, man. So I think Henry maybe late submission or most likely decision in this one. I don't have a strong take, but I do think Henry's going to get it done. JB, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I don't think Henry's going to submit him, bro. If this fight gets to the mat, Pedro Falcao, I think his jiu-jitsu is legitimate. He didn't really get a chance to show it in his last fight, clearly, because I think Hugo was a threat off the back. It was a fight he took on short notice. Now, am I positive that was the reason he gassed out so bad? No, but he was on 3 days' notice, so that's still something I got to take into account. Hugo, not the worst fighter in the world. I do think if this fight stays standing, Henry's clearly the cleaner striker, but Falcao's going to try and make this fight dirty. It's not like he has the worst striking. He can mix it in when he shoots his takedowns. You have to worry about both threats. Henry does a pretty good job of getting back up, but he did look a little less physical in the last fight with Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain able to get multiple foot sweeps, even guillotine him. I don't know how you feel about this, Liam, but a guillotine from side or lucrative, you too. A guillotine from side control. That man, Charles Jourdain, must have a crazy squeeze. Or my guy Victor.
Ninja choke, baby. Yeah. Changes the whole dynamic. You pass the guard on a guillotine, you're safe. You pass the guard on a ninja choke, you're still fucked. You have to hit a whole neck roll.
Yeah, he switched the grip pretty crazy. That was dope, bro. Shout out Charles Jourdain. That was sick. But I think this line's about accurate. I'll probably line Victor Henry like minus 185. Because I think Falcao does have grappling upside. I think he could win 2 or 3 rounds. I do even think if he gets to the back, he could submit Henry, get on top. But Henry's got some good reversals himself. He trains with Josh Barnett. He's a black belt. So it's a good fight, man. It's basically a binary for me. If Henry keeps it on the feet, I think he wins. If Falcao gets it to the ground, I think he's able to do enough to get the win.
Liam, take us out, bro.
I got a strong take here. I'll be efficient with this one. I like Falcao. If I have to pick a side in this fight on the money line, I was surprised that the money kept coming in on Victor Henry. I'm a Victor Henry guy. Bet him when he came into the UFC at plus 425, but I've been disappointed by him ever since. That's the God's honest truth. I thought he should have beaten the Sun Sao. The fact that he lost that fight, I felt like showed that he wasn't the same guy he was in Japan. He was slowing down. He wasn't as enthusiastic. Javid Basharat, I bet him in that fight. Yo, thank God he got punted in the nuts, my man. I wish him nothing but the best. We want him to be healthy, but my man looked like shit in that fight, right? He was getting beat up by a guy who has since gotten exposed more times than one, and I said that he was a fraud at the time. Not to say he's a bad fighter, but I said he was going to get exposed by top-level guys. I thought Victor was one of them. He wasn't, and he was getting shown up that night. And now I say to myself, okay, he's got Pedro Falcao, who just fought Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo, in my opinion, underrated fighter that people don't know about. He has knocked out with one punch 185-pounders. I've watched it with my own 2 eyes. So that's how dangerous he is. If you want to stand and strike with him, he'll knock you the fuck out. And if you go to the ground with him, he's crazy down there too. He's not afraid to rip at ankles, legs, submission. So Falcao had to be really disciplined in that fight. And it was a tough one, man. Tough fight to come into the UFC and try and pull off. But in this one, I think Falcao is the better wrestler. I think he's the stronger grappler. I think Tony Gravely taking you down 4 times and putting you in dangerous situation after dangerous situation is a red flag. This guy's a 3rd-degree black belt under Marlon Sandro out of Novo União. This is not joke grappling. This is very, very high-level grappling. He's been doing it for a long time. He coaches Ode and these other guys on how to grapple better because they don't know as well as he does, right? It's like, that's what Falcao is to me. And if you're getting submitted by Charles Jourdain, you can absolutely get submitted by Falcao as far as I'm concerned. And looking back at that fight, Victor Henry, a guy who, again, is very crafty, is putting his head into the same guillotine attempt 4 times, allowing Charles to eventually go to the ninja choke variation. It's like, my man put himself in a bad situation over and over. He was playing stupid games. He won a stupid prize. And I think Pedro Falcao, if you want to play those games with him, he's going to give you a stupid prize as well, but maybe even quicker.
Let's go.
Yeah, nice, bro. And one thing that I forgot to mention as well is that Henry's 37 years old, right? And 37 years old is not a good age to be at this weight class. So you're going to expect some drop-offs. And we'll speak about one guy who's a bit older than 37, I think, in the next fight or the one after. But at some point, when these guys hit the age, they're just going to start losing and losing and losing. We've already seen that a little bit with Victor Henry. So, yeah, I ain't having any money on this fight, but good luck to anyone who does. So in terms of the value and the money line sides, and if we got any parlay legs, I'm not going to parlay anything. I personally capped Victor minus 140. He's minus 200 now. So there's no way I'm putting him in a parlay. It's not plus EV. I would look to maybe fight doesn't go to decision because I think that Henry can get a round 3 finish here. And I also think that Henry could potentially get submitted, especially, what both of you guys said the same thing. So yeah, I have respect for that. So maybe that's somewhere we look, but personally, I don't think there's anything that I specifically want to write down. But if you could tell me the odds for those ones, JB, maybe fight doesn't go to decision. Outside of that, let me know if you got any.
Yeah. Will the fight go the distance? Plus 182 for no. I'm seeing on FanDuel.
It's all right.
If we're gonna stick with that. I personally like the submission at plus 750. It's a tiny sprinkle for me. It's nothing crazy, but if we're asking about plus EV bets on this fight, yeah.
Nice. Liam, I'm believing you probably want to put down Falcao money line.
Totally up to you guys. That is the way that I lean on this fight. Like if you said what's the best value on the fight, I think Falcao money line. But I don't hate the look on the doesn't go the distance. I think he's very live to win by submission, which I'm not hearing a lot of people, credit this week. And I also think on the other side, you mentioned it, James, like what does Victor do really well? He starts turning up the pace on people late in the fight. If you haven't gotten him out of there, if you spend a lot of energy trying to grapple and now he's punching you in the body and throwing 10 punch combinations, he can get you out of there. It was a minor miracle Hany Barcelos didn't get knocked out. I mean, he was literally on Dream Street just getting hit with 10-piece combos. I don't think Victor's very powerful, but his pace is a huge factor for a lot of guys. So I could see that, and I could see him, like if Vanessa is live in round 3, I think Victor, for similar reasons, is alive in round 3,
Yeah, and Pedro definitely seems tough, right? Like we've seen that throughout his career, to be honest. But at the end of the day, man, shit can happen. It's MMA, round 3, you get gassed out, things happen. So
Victor is a big attacks guy. You know what I mean? I'm talking about Victor Hugo. He's big attacks guy. And meanwhile, Victor Henry is all volume all day. It's like a totally different archetype.
Yeah, literally. Nate Diaz versus, Conor McGregor. So we got, I'll write down Falcao because you like the value there. I said he should be minus 140. So
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the sub is less than the KO for Victor Henry here.
The sub is less than
the disrespect for my guy Falcao.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy, right?
No respect for a third-degree black belt.
Yeah, method of victory: Henry by submission plus 800, Henry by KO plus 1200.
And just for perspective, because I know like black belts and whatever all sounds like the same. We always talk about there's black belts and then there's black belts. Jafel Filo, who almost submitted Muhammad Makayev, right? He's a 5th-degree black belt under the same instructor. That's how good of jiu-jitsu we're talking about. World class,
Yeah, definitely. I do think, submission potentially could be live late, though, if he gasses out. You know what happens, man? Like they, each, how can I put this? They say, like, I don't know what the quote is, but
one punch, you're a white belt, or like, basically the more you get punched in the face, the worse your fucking jiu-jitsu is, basically.
Yeah. Black belt gets punched in the face, he's a brown belt. He gets kicked in the head, he's a purple belt. And it's the same thing, with gassed, like black belt's gassed out, he's a brown belt. He's really gassed out, he's a purple belt. He's on death's door and you're Rodolfo Vieira getting submitted by Fluffy Hernandez. So I don't think it's impossible, but I think that's all the legs I want to put down. If there's anything else, let me know. If not, we'll move on to the next fight.
I don't know, but Victor Henry round 3 KO sounds, we can move on, but that sounds plus 5,000 sounds a bit wide.
Woo! All right, I'm going to write it down just so the people know. We're not probably won't put it in a parlay. But just so that people know where our head's at. So, all right, moving on. Next fight, we got Loma Lookboonmee versus Estela Nunes. JB, take this one away, man. Massive favorite for Loma Lookboonmee here, minus 7,800.
I've seen people parlaying Loma Lookboonmee this week. I think she's good, but that's crazy, brother. That's crazy talk.
Talking about parlay madness.
Madness, brother. We're talking about a fighter with she's got the reach advantage. I believe they're at similar age. In the stand-up realm, I think Loma's good. She does a very good job at catching kicks. That's something Estela's going to have to be careful with, especially if she doesn't want to get grappled in this spot. But she can just throw hands. I think Loma has the better kicking upside, but Estela Nunes, she's good. She knows when to throw the kicks. If she winds up in the clinch with Loma, I think that could be trouble. She's going to be met with knees, elbows, foot sweeps. I think Loma's got the better cardio as the fight goes on. She's been more active, not coming off of an injury. She's got UFC wins, actually, so proof of concept. This is a bit of a dogger pass for me, but from a parlay perspective, I don't know. Maybe I would look toward the under. I could see Loma finishing her if she gets gassed and she does get the fight to the ground, gets on top. She's definitely been working the ground game, so it's possible. We've seen Nunes finish before. That's probably where I would look at.
Yeah, I'll go next on this one. This is fucking insane line, man. This line is crazy. I mean, we'll speak about it later on the card as well. But Estela Nunes is, I believe, 0-4 in the UFC, and there's someone else who's 0-4 in the UFC, and I believe they're both getting disrespected. But this one is crazy. I mean, Loma Lookboonmee at -700. Didn't you see her fight with Brazil, who was 50-50, and she was -300? She was -400 in that spot, and she looked -130, -140. And man, I feel like Estela can do some of what Bruna did. I think Estela can skate around the outside of the octagon, land kicks. I think she's faster than Loma. How can I say? I don't think she's faster with certain movements, but in terms of, I think she's the better athlete, right? So I think she's way more athletic. I think she can skate around the octagon faster. I think if these girls were sprinting the 100 meters, Estela would win. And I think that she can use her athleticism to at least win a round here. And if she wins a round, who's to say what's going to happen in the next 2 rounds? You need to push a pace to break Estela Nunes, right? Shout out to Ariane Canelossi. Shout out to Sam Hughes. And she didn't even get finished in the Sam Hughes fight, right? So it's not like every time she just breaks down and she dies. Yasmin Uregi, high-level fighter, bad chin, but high-level fighter, right? She finished her. She won the first round on all 3 judges' scorecards. Like, I almost favor her to win round 1. How can you favor someone to win round 1 at +500? It shouldn't be possible. +500 in an MMA fight should be a complete shot in the dark, right? We've just seen Jeremy Kennedy +600, right, in an MMA fight. And yes, everyone's going to be like, yeah, you know, Movlid, whatever. He didn't. Before that fight, no one was saying Jeremy, right? Before this fight, no one's saying her. Almost nobody in MMA at this level should be +500. It basically just doesn't exist anyway. Just because MMA is crazy, shit can happen. You can get taken down and dislocate, break your fucking arm like Estela did in her last fight. Shit can just go wrong anyway. So straight off the bat, you should rarely see -800s. And then when you go to lowish, medium to low level women's MMA, it even increases the volatility more. And I speak about this a lot. The reason why volatility increases in low level matchups is because they do stupid shit. They fall off the back when they shouldn't because they're just not good. They're lower level. And Loma Lookboonmee, she's a good fighter. She's about medium level. Estela's lower level. Overall, they mix to increase some volatility. And Loma Lookboonmee's made some stupid mistakes on the mat before. You know, she's been reversed by shitty fighters. She got reversed by Elise Reed, right? She got reversed by Elise Reed on the mat, man. Like, yeah, I'm passionate that this is a stupid line. Now, I think Loma's probably going to win. I think she probably gets the clinch going. I think she probably dumps some Muay Thai sweeps in round 2 and round 3. Nunes gasses out. I think Nunes wins round 1 here. I think she loses a close 29-28. Give me Estela Nunes at +500 on the money line for me, man. Liam, what do you reckon, bro?
I think there's 2 different ways you could play this fight. You touched on one of them, right? I've talked about my whole betting career. Like, you're not going to catch me laying -800s in MMA. You know, I think the biggest price I can remember laying is -400 on Shavkat Lakhmonov against Neil Magny, and that was free 99. But other than that, it's like you're very rarely going to catch me laying that. Loma, very fun fighter. I like her. She'll kick you in the stomach, then, you know, stick the tongue out at you. Like, she's cool. She's not -800 type fighter in terms of how you associate her. Here's the problem I have, though. I think Estela Nunes doesn't have 15 minutes of fighting in her based on what I've seen from her, right? You just watch these fights back. She'll start off a fight looking like a competent MMA fighter, right? She's throwing punches. She's moving around well. She's damaging her opponent. But if you do not get finished in that first round and you continue trying to fight her, she doesn't like that. She's like, what the? I thought we were done. I thought you were already done. It's like Sam Hughes comes back out ready to party in round 2. She's giving up takedowns to dominant positions in all of these fights. Like, if you start taking her down, she'll defend the first couple. But when you take her down, it's like, take me down into the mount, take me down, take my back, take me down past the guard. Like, there's no semblance of a ground game that I'm seeing. And I do think Loma, if you have to point to where she's struggled and where she's making improvements, I think she gave up 3 submission attempts to Denise Gomes. Like, we got to be cognizant. This girl still makes some beginner mistakes on the ground. But who's more likely to put the fight on the ground? definitely Loma in my view. She's much more likely to attempt wrestling offense. And I just think Estela Nunes, aside from everything else about her, is a quitter. And I think if you watch back the Carnelossi fight, she's better than Ariane Carnelossi, probably in every phase. But Carnelossi just kept trying offense for 15 minutes and she quit. And you can go back and watch. She's defending fine, and then she gets taken down in the third and just says, all right, I lost this one, gives it up. And that arm break was a bad happenstance, but the other shit is for real. You know, there was no happenstance, there's no circumstance. And by the way, they're okay fighters. People are saying like she fought great competition. She fought okay. Like Victoria Dudikoff, these girls are all like clinging to just 500 UFC records, 3-2, 5-5. Like none of these women are standout. Loma is fighting Lupi Godinez, Angela Hill. Those are her losses in the UFC. They're both established veterans, contenders in the division. So I just think they're on different levels, different trajectories. For me, it's either the plus money on Nunes money line or the fight not to go the distance, which I think is kind of going to be, you know, a little bit of a different read here, but it's just because I think Estela Nunes is a huge quitter. And I think if she faces adversity in round 2 or 3, shit's going to go sideways. If she gets taken down in round 2 or 3, shit's going to go sideways. So that's the way I see it, man.
Bro, I love the under. I love the doesn't go to decision. I like that heavily. I'll most likely play.
She's dangerous one too.
Yeah, exactly. Based on everything you just said, like she drops girls in round 1. She hurts a lot of girls in round 1. She cracked Uregi. She cracked Sam Hughes. And I think she can crack Loma. I personally, you know, think Loma's going to finish it in round 2 and round 3. I made a big case for the odds because minus 800 is absolutely stupid, right? It's the exact same how I made a case for Jeremy Kennedy because I thought the minus 800 was stupid. I picked Movliv to win via decision. He won via decision, right? My prediction was right, but it's like, this is a betting show. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do think the overall most probable outcome is Loma in 2-3. And by the way, I'll probably play it. If I take Estela Nunes plus 500, I am going to hedge with 2 and 3 because it's an easy hedge. They're massive prices. The under 2.5 is plus 250, right? And let's not forget, yes, Sam Hughes didn't finish her. She's been finished in all other UFC fights. But Sam Hughes, round 3, man, she could have finished her. She was
round 2. Round 2, she finished in the crucifix as well. Like, it's a miracle that she didn't get finished in that fight.
Yeah, crazy. And I believe she was 10-8'd on at least 1 or 2 judges' scorecards in the Sam Hughes fight. I don't know if it was 2 or 1, but she definitely was 10-8'd in that round. So, you know, the only fight she did last, she almost got finished multiple times. But, you know, Loma, in my opinion, doesn't push the same pace. Well, it's not my opinion. Loma does not push the same pace of Hughes at all. Hughes is the only thing Hughes has is pace. She has nothing else. She only has pace. The only thing Carnelossi has is pace. She has nothing else, right? So someone like Loma, who's a Muay Thai fighter, you know, yeah, we mentioned that she could take her down, right? Okay, but she's a Muay Thai fighter through and through, right? What is Muay Thai? It's I hit you, you hit me, low pace. We smile at each other. We look at the crowd. We hit each other with 100% head kick, shin off the dome. And then I let you have your go. And we bounce around and it's fun. And we try to knock each other. That is Muay Thai. It's a game. It's 1-on-1, 1-on-1. It's not crazy page, take you down, wrestling, smash you. Like, that's not it. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. And I think it's very probable that Loma's a fucking idiot and she doesn't grapple here. She doesn't take her down. She clinches her a few times. I could even see Loma trip her to the ground and let her back up. She's done it before in MMA. You know, Loma is that type of fighter. So, you know, I think 500 is crazy, but I also like the 2-3 Loma. So I think I'll write those 2 down now. I went on a little bit of a rant. I don't know if you went, JB, already. I don't think you did, but if you
did.
No,
I went. I said I like the under 2.5, but not really confident. All
right. So, yeah, I like the doesn't go better just because, you know, Estela is a quitter. So I really want that extra 2.5. If you could give me the odds for that, JB, and then, I mean, I know the market.
So the bookies are hip to it. The fight doesn't go as plus 190. And then the under 2.5 is plus 230. So they're basically saying that last 2.5 minutes really fucking matters.
Yeah, I would have to go for the doesn't go. You know, I would kill myself if she got, you know, finished. And I think it's very live for her to get finished late. So Nunes Loma doesn't go. And what about Loma 2-3? Because I think that's actually my overall prediction.
Yeah, I got you. Round betting. Hold on, bro. I'm getting better at this.
We got a system now. We got a system. We need a producer though.
Yes, bro. I would love that.
If anyone wants to produce in the chat, if anyone wants to produce, meaning like all you need to do is pull up the odds for us, you know, maybe show some fights.
Yes.
if we break down Loma, show some Loma highlights, I don't know, something like that, then let me know. You can get straight onto the Parlay Madness team. Anyone in the chat, let me know. DM me.
Plus 950, plus 1300.
Liam, are we having some of those? They're big numbers, Liam. Liam's down for it. All right, so that's it, boys. I think that's our take on that fight. We all kind of like that doesn't go to decision, and it's big plus money, so that could be a nice one for the parlays. Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunza. JB, you want to take this one away, bro? Like I just said, right? Estella was 0-4, and now she's being underrated. Reese McKee is 0-4, and I kind of think this guy might be being underrated. You know, this Frunza's coming in. He looks all right. I don't think he looks like anything special. Reese McKee might just get dropped a million times in round 1 and come back and finish this guy in round 2 and round 3. So that's my prediction. I ain't going to say no more. I've already gone. JB, I think JB's gone. All right, Liam, you want to...
man, I just got sucked into a StreamYard portal. I don't know what happened there, but all I could see was myself on screen. I was like, something has gone amiss. So I just figured it'd be easier to bounce myself, come back in. As far as this fight goes, man, you mentioned it before. 2 fighters on this card are 0-4. If I could see one of them breaking through, it's Reese McKee. And the reason being, he's actually shown he can fight 15 minutes. He's coming on in round 3, right? He gave himself a chance against Ange Lusa. In my opinion, the worst card that I've seen looking back at like old decisions this week. One judge gave a 10-9 round to Ange Lusa in round 3 when he was literally time traveling and looking the wrong direction. Like he was fighting a guy in the wrong direction because he was so hurt, and they gave the round to him. Insanity. But overall, man, I think the fight not to go and Reese McKee are the 2 sides that I see in this one. Reese McKee by sub, I think, is probably a big number. Frunza has just been a career vulnerability to the club and sub, to the submission. His ground game looks very rudimentary. It's very MMA based, right? Violence, elbows to the head, from the back, grapevining the legs, not stuff that you see at a jiu-jitsu gym, only an MMA gym. So for me, I think Frunza is exploitable, but I also think on the other side, McKee hasn't proven it at this level. If I had to go with one, I'd go with McKee. He's an Irishman.
I'm feeling it, man. JB, I teed you up and then you cut out, but now you're back. What's going on?
The luck of the Irish, bro. We need the luck of the Irish today. I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't have a really strong read on this fight. I taped it earlier in the week. I did a little bit of tape. I felt like both these guys sucked, and I had a lot of shit to do this week. So, yeah, I'll probably just stick with whatever you guys got on this one. I'll trust your word for it, and if you feel strong about it, we'll rock with that. I gotta go get some pack though. I'll be right back. Some Emmett pack, maybe.
Frunza pack. It might be that Frunza pack. Yeah, so I think we both like Reese McKee, and I don't know if it's going to end up in a bet on Reese McKee, but if I had to say what the money line side was, I feel like Reese McKee has a good chance to get right, to go 1-4 in the UFC and to keep his place in the UFC. If he goes 0-5, I mean, surely they're going to cut him at that point. They've already cut him once, and surely they're going to cut him again. You can't come back from a cut, go 0-3, and not get cut. So I like that. I also kind of like the under 2.5 here, Liam, because I really do think that Frunza can just knock this guy out. I know, he's shown toughness.
That's his path, man. He's dangerous.
Yeah, and Reese has shown toughness, but you ain't going to continue to show toughness throughout your entire career. Like at some point, you're going to get knocked out, and he has been close to that a few times anyway.
If Ange Lusa's almost knocking you out, it's a bad sign. No disrespect.
Exactly. So yeah, I like the under here. Frunza money line as well. So JB, the odds man has disappeared. So maybe I can check it.
I'm back.
I got you.
I'm back. If you got it, go for it. What do you need?
The odds for this Frunza fight. So I'm seeing McKee plus 135 best available.
That's all right.
Fight ends is minus 160.
Ends ITV.
Yep.
Okay.
My man.
Yeah, I like that. I like both of those. Oh, McKee sub. You mentioned that, bro. I like that one. I think that's going to be big. What is it, like 600-700?
Seeing
McKee
plus 650.
sub. Yeah. Yep. That looks like about as good as you'll do.
Awesome.
I like that
Liam
one.
got the numbers up.
Sub 2 free. That's it. Like, I mean, I know we're going crazy now, but I'm just going to write it down just for myself because I might play that shit after.
It's plus 1,200 for the combo.
Okay.
And the one other thing I wanted to mention here is you can make a case that McKee has two like UFC adjacent wins. Justin Burlinson, Jai Herbert. Those are guys that are proving that they could go out there and compete with UFC level guys. Who has Franz ever beat that's UFC level? Like Coetzee is the only guy you could argue, and the other ones, none of them have made it to the UFC. None of them have even fought on Contender, as far as I know. So the guy is kind of a virtual unknown. And my guy Moyes always talks about Euro trash grappling. Rhys McKee hasn't been able to out-grapple Chitty and these other guys who are big, American, muscular. It's like, maybe in this one, it's like Euro trash versus Euro trash. Give it a chance.
Yeah, and you know, like, when I think Franz is going to get tired here if he doesn't knock him out. I think he's going to get tired from beating McKee up. You know, McKee does make everyone tired, and McKee can have success with you. He had success grappling Chitty along the cage. You know, he was winning a lot of minutes along the cage. Now he lost overall, but he was still winning a lot of minutes. There was a very, very close fight. I believe it ended in split decision, and
I thought he won round one.
Yeah, well, there you go. And round one was, if I remember correctly, round one was mostly cage pushing. I don't think much happened.
100%. I don't think anything else happened the whole round.
Yeah, so, you know, he can win certain positions. And so, especially when Frunze gets tired, I could definitely see Rhys McKee grappling him, getting on top, making it dirty. If not for his grappling skills, but just for his cardio advantage, which I definitely think he holds here and holds over most people in the division, as we've seen, even in fights that he's lost. So, yeah, McKee could be a spot here. I don't know if I'll play it, but one thing I will say is Frunze's making his UFC debut. We've seen time. I think this is mainstream now, right? Like if you make your UFC debut, instantly you take down your 5% win percentage. You know, like I just do that just automatically now because we've seen time and time again, a lot of fighters just do not perform in their UFC debut. So that's the last I'll say on it, but I think the underdog has a chance to win. So the next one is Diana Belbita versus Diana Barbosa. And man, talk about chances to win. I mean, they're saying that Belbita has absolutely no chance, even less of a chance than Estela Nunes, less of a chance than Jeremy Kennedy. I think this chick might be the biggest underdog on any card this entire weekend. You know, we're talking about regionals. We're talking about fucking boxing events. I mean, this is a boxing line right now. I don't know the exact line, but Diana Barbosa's coming up at like Dion Barbosa's coming up at like minus 1,200 now. I think she's going to take her down. I think she's too athletic. I've seen time and time again Belbita show very, very bad level in the grappling. And she's been mounted multiple times by fighters who are not on the level of jiu-jitsu and grappling, takedown, just everything, or as athletic as someone like Barbosa. So we know for a fact Barbosa's more athletic. We know for a fact she's stronger. We know for a fact she's got better wrestling and she's got better grappling. That is a horrific combination. And I don't really see Belbita making it to round 3 here. I think she's going to get finished in round 1 or 2. If she does make it to round 3, probably goes to decision. Barbosa's a bit of a gasser. But I think TKO is live here. TKO is plus 1,000. I think that the heel hook is live here. We've seen Barbosa go for that. I think the knee bar is live here. Arm bar is always live in women's MMA. Yeah, man. I just think that the physicality advantage from this Brazilian is just way too much. And yeah, I think Barbosa should be a massive favorite. And I think she finishes the fight. Liam, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I'm not going to belabor the point. I bet 20-1 on Molly McCann to win by submission in round 1 against Diana Belbita, and now it's plus 185 in this fight. And it's because now the market's come around to the fact that she sucks. No disrespect to her at all. She can strike a little bit. She cannot grapple at all. She's not cutting any weight. She's going to be way less physical, in my humble opinion. And Dione Barbosa was a victim of her own enthusiasm against Ernesta Caraquete. She was looking for the finish. She was looking for the armbar. She's looking for the rear naked choke. She spent a lot of energy trying to get the finish. That's why she was rewarded with a close decision, in my humble opinion. And I think in this fight, if you go for a finish on Diana Belbita, the fight's over shortly thereafter. So I think Diana Barbosa wins this one. I think she wins it however she wants. And I think it's going to be early inside the distance. And by the way, guys, Molly McCann has 1 career win by submission. She had 2 submission attempts and like 20 minutes of control in 2 fights against Diana Belbita. So just take that for whatever it's worth.
JB, you got any crazy take here or do you agree?
You already know I don't got no crazy takes. I got Diana Barbosa winning this fight however the hell she wants to win it. She's going to take it to the ground. Belbita is a white belt. She's ready to retire. Bye. That's it. Bye, Felicia. Nice knowing you. On to the GFL.
Bye, Belbita.
She might be in the BFL after this.
She's going to be in the BSL, Barbosa Submission League, because I think she might get her arm snapped off in this one. But to be honest, I'm sorry, boys, I'm just eating an apple. But what I was going to say is, do you guys agree with the TKO at plus 1,000 shot from me? Because I feel like that. Yeah. I feel like it could be. I know she mainly go for subs. She could definitely mount her, flatten her out, and just TKO here. So I want to write that one down. Do you guys see the same way?
I think that's what Molly was trying to do, and then there was 2 seconds left on the clock, and then she just said, "I'm gonna armbar you." She wins this fight however she wants to, bro. If she decides to go for ground and pound, she wins the fight via ground and pound, in my opinion. I don't think Belbita's gonna have an answer.
Yeah. You know, one thing I will mention, somebody had asked in the chat, like, could this be a trap? I listened to Barbosa's interview. I listen to everybody's interviews to try and get a feel for where their head's at. She said, I want to show all my skills. I want to show off my improvements in my striking and this and that. And I was like, well, that's the only thing that I don't like hearing from you, right? I would rather her say, I'm going to attempt takedowns from the second this fight starts until it's over, and I'm going to submit her in the first round. But instead, she was talking about showing different skills and whatever. Maybe she drags it out a little longer. Maybe it goes round 2 and 3. I just don't think I think at any point, if she tries to beat Belbita via finish on the ground, she's going to. So that's just the way I see it. But I just wanted to give that credence to the chat, because I did listen to the interview, and I was like, hey, don't you go pull a funny one on us, girl. Out there standing with the jab or something.
Bro, yeah. I bet she takes her down within 2 seconds and just grapples the fuck out of her, man.
She better.
Notorious, man. They say one thing in the interview and then instantly do the exact opposite. Julia Palastri said she's definitely getting a sub over Lupi last week. So I don't know, man.
I had it at 50-1 and it looked 50-1.
Yeah, bro. Fuck, man. The KO looked like 5-1. That was a crazy third round, man. That chick could be so good. I hate people like these strikers like Julia Palastri and Josephine Knutson. They're so fucking good on the feet. And he just got no grappling, man. It really pissed me off because I like Palastri, I like Knutson, I want to get behind them. But, man, how can you come into the UFC and just have such a hole like that? It's kind of crazy. Shows you the level of MMA, really, as well, So, boys,
I like
anyone got odds for that?
Yeah, I like the doesn't go is -172. I like the under 2.5 at -130. Also, if you want to write it down for me.
It doesn't go as cheap as -165.
Okay.
I would grab that.
Let's do the under then, because
I played the under, so
the under is like -120. I'm seeing.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That got hit a little bit. But I think if it gets round 3 to 13 minutes, I don't think she'll finish her.
That's exactly what my thought process was. I think she gets tired.
Right? Yeah, she got.
I don't think so, but I also just have one thing I will note is when people get TKOs in WMMA, they tend to be late. I remember I had Amarim TKO against Montserrat Caneo at 16-1, and James, I was ready to cry on my kitchen floor. I was like, they're not going to give it to me. She's going to beat this woman for the entire 15 minutes. They're not going to stop this fight, and instead they finally get it. But it was round 3, right? It's like in WMMA, if somebody's not bleeding all over or like turning away from the shots, man, you got to put 100 on them unanswered. So I think that could be the late finish for Barbosa is, your TKO could pay it off, if you know what I'm saying. But I think the sub will be gone by that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's looking into it very deeply. Potentially she ain't getting a sub at that point, but potentially TKO. So yeah, we'll write the TKO down, JB. What was the odds for that one? It might have been hit a bit.
I see +850. I got like +900.
Yeah. Well, 850 is fine to me. I'm not going to say it's 50-50, but I think it's like 65-35.
You can get up. I don't know if you like it later in the fight, but you get 2-3 KO +1800. Or I think it comes in round 2, personally. I mean, I know you're getting kind of crazy, but
I think round 1 is more probable than 3. So I'm happy to just play it straight up.
That makes sense.
So we can move on to the next one. We got David Grant versus Daniel Santos. David Grant, English banger, Bishopsgate banger, they should call him. Fuck the Black Country banger, Jai Herbert. He laid an egg last week. We got the Bishopsgate banger. I'm pretty sure Bishopsgate is like one of the most posh areas in England. I don't know, but it just sounds fucking like posh. Like a bunch of white people eating tea and crumpets in that area. But David Grant looks like he ain't from there, because this guy ain't eating tea and crumpets. This guy is going out there punching tea and crumpets out of your head. All this guy wants to do is fight. You know, this guy is an absolute legend. He's 39 years of age, and he is still coming out there, beating these young-ish prospects, giving them all they can handle. Even back to the Daniel Marcos fight, this guy is like one of the best in the division at this point, top 15, top 10 guy, and he's going to a split decision where he arguably won. You know, I bet Daniel Marcos in that fight, and I was like, damn, I don't know who's got this decision. This is fucking close. So, yeah, Davy Grant's a fucking legend. He always will be, always support the English guys, and he's one of the pioneers, really, because he's been doing it in MMA, in the UFC for a long, long time. And a lot of time, he isn't noticed. He isn't rewarded, you know, like he isn't really a poster boy of English MMA at all. You know, I follow some English MMA pages, and they're always posting about, you know, these people like Laurel Murphy or, you know, other fighters when they're coming up. And Davy Grant really never gets a shout out. It's like he's not English. It's like they don't even know about him. This guy has been putting on for England for years. So shout out to Davy Grant. I think this is a good fight. I do think this is where the train comes to an end, because Grant's put together some wins. I do think this is where the train comes to an end. I think Daniel Santos is actually a very good fighter. The only issue for me is that I don't really know what Daniel Santos has been doing in the last couple of years. I don't know where his head is at. I don't know if he's leveled up his skill set, because we just haven't seen him in the octagon enough for me. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a good talent. I think he's better than people that took Davy Grant close, you know, like Roman Tavares last time out. I think he's got the grappling upside here, you know, and Grant has been taken down a couple of times and a little bit mauled. You know, and I think people forget that a little bit because he's in bangers a lot, and you kind of forget when a Sun Sao takes him down for 3 rounds and kind of dominates him. You kind of forget when Marlon Chito Vera absolutely brutalizes him and gives him a 10-8 in their rematch on the ground. So I think Daniel Santos has a potential to get on top here. If he stays on the feet, I also favor him a bit. But man, this guy's hitting ball. He's a shootbox guy. He's a Brazilian with blonde hair. You know, we already know these guys are the most hittable in MMA history. I mean, Brazilians with blonde hair, there's no way you're not landing a million strikes on them, right? That's just who they are. Charles Oliveira paved the way for the knockdown into armbar, knockdown into whatever it is, and they all fight the same. So man, Davy Grant can crack. And I don't know if you want to get hit by Davy Grant. Shoot box is not the best style to fight Davy Grant. Overall, though, I just think the age, the youth, and the skills of that Daniel Santos will pay off. I think Grant early lines were okay, a plus 180s, plus 170s. But overall, I think Daniel Santos is going to win the fight. I also will say that, you know, Grant's chin, I've been thinking it's going to be cracked for many, many years now. And it's held up. But he's getting hurt. He's getting wobbled. He's getting 10-8 in some fights. And I think this could be the time where it goes crack. I know everyone's been saying that, but I personally think it's going to come soon. Santos is the type of guy to get it done. I'm picking Santos here. JB, what do you reckon, bro?
Yeah, I think like you said, if you got in on Grant early, good job. The lines moved in a little bit. Now I don't feel about it as strongly, but Grant's put up a pretty decent UFC career. Like, you can't really name a loss on his record recently that's super like terrible. Obviously, he had the knockout win over Jonathan Martinez back in the day. Martinez a little bit chinny though, but still, nonetheless, it's a good level of competition. Lost to Marlon Chito Vera. I can't knock him for that. The split versus Daniel Marcos a little bit more recently as well. He fought close with him, and I think Marcos is a solid fighter. Santos is legitimate. That knockout he had over John Castaneda was beautiful. And you know, Grant's gonna have to watch out for the punching power of Santos. And like you said, as he gets older and up in age, it could come. You never know when the time is going to happen. He's finishing, you know, some lower level guys. Obviously, the Sun Sao fight was a banger. He gets him like an inverted triangle choke. That was crazy. So, yeah, I don't have a really strong read on this fight. I kind of think it goes over personally. He could finish him, though, so might want to just be careful.
Yeah, Liam, bro, what do you think about this one? It's a great fight.
Don't have the strongest read here. Huge Davy Grant fan.
Gravy.
Loved his work. Yeah, the gravy train. All his wins recently have been gravy, that's for sure. But if you look at this guy, like, he just goes out there to scrap, not afraid to fight anybody. Is he the most technical fighter in the world? No. Is he a guy that's going to go swing with anybody? Yes. If you hurt him, will he get back up and try and kill you? Yes. You look back, Martin Day dropped him. I think even Jonathan Martinez might have dropped him. I can't remember, but like a couple guys have dropped him and then got killed later on. It's like, if you do not put him away, he's going to keep getting on your ass. He's going to keep trying to win the fight. But I think in this fight, he's kind of meeting somebody that's a lot like him. You know, like Daniel Santos, he's been dropped before against Castaneda and then came back and whooped his ass around too. It's like, it's not an easy guy to just put away either on the other side. And I think you talked about it. Jonathan Martinez, he's a guy that can get hurt, right? Martin Day, he hasn't been with the promotion 15 years. I'm kidding. But it's like, you kind of look at Davey Grant's win-loss, and I think the Marcos fight kind of stands out. It's like, wow, what a performance there. The Assunção fight, you mentioned it. He looked like not very good and then found a way to win it late. He's a tough guy, but 39 and your bag pulling wins, and now you're going against the guy 9 years your junior, right? We don't know as much about Daniel Santos. When I talk about red flags, the red flag for me is you have more pullouts than you have UFC fights, right? That's a huge red flag. The guy has not competed as much as he's pulled out of fights since he signed to the company in 2022, but he's a young guy, right? Like he probably put everything together right. I want to wait and watch the weigh-ins for this one, but it feels to me like Santos is going to finish him late or earn a close decision here. So I think he has the wrestling upside. I think he's got knockout ability on the feet. And I think if he gets hurt, he's the kind of guy that's young enough to rally, find a way to dig deep and come back. And by the way, it's not like he's been putting his chin on the line week after week after week and getting back in there. So now he's susceptible to being knocked out. It's like he should be fresh and the best version of himself at 30. So let's see.
Let's see, man. So I'm going to write down Santos as the money line side. Whether I put him in the parlay, it's a close fight. I don't know.
I assume he's just been injured and trying to get back into, competitive form. Doesn't mean he can't come out here and still be the goods,
Oh, one thing I wanted to just put out into the ether as well, it does look like good training for Davey Grant because I can't get a feel for his physique. I want to know if he's still got that HGH gut coming out to here because if he does, that's definitely a positive Davey sign. But if you look at this guy, like he's training with Aljo, he's training with Merab, he's at Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas. Before that, he's training with Damian Maia and Paul Craig. It's like if you're 39 years of age and trying to win a UFC fight, he's doing everything he can.
So what do we like in the prop section? Do we like under or over? It's very tough for me.
I don't have an opinion on that one. I think it goes over, but you made some good points.
Yeah, I think the fight doesn't go at plus is kind of interesting, but I don't think it's enough. It's like it's probably marginal value for me, if anything. I'd make it plus 110. It's plus 125.
Plus 125, yeah.
I see this fight as like 50-50 going to decision or not. That could also mean I just don't fucking know and I don't have a good read, So it's always kind of hard when you cap fights, pick them, because sometimes the reason you cap and pick them is because you don't really know. And then you see a plus 200 and you're like, oh, yeah, but I cap it and pick them. But I don't know, man. I feel like the betting can kind of warp your mind sometimes. And we just say pick them to cop out of it. It doesn't necessarily mean there's value on a plus. So I think a lot of people will know what I'm talking about. One thing I do want to say is apologies. Bishopsgate. He's from Bishop Auckland, not Bishopsgate. I don't know why I said that. Bishop Auckland, I don't know where the fuck that's from. That's like the tea and crumpets village I mentioned. But Bishopsgate is definitely not. It's in the central London, so business district. So he ain't from there. So yeah, I guess we pass on the props. I kind of like Santos round 2-3 because I think he kind of overwhelms him at some point. But I'm not going to put it in.
That was my article write-up. Santos 2-3 or split decision. So
nice.
We see it the same.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, we're on the main card, boys. Appreciate you being here. Liam, shout out to you, man. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday night or probably Friday morning now. And JB, thanks as always, bro. Always a pleasure doing this. I know it's late for you, so shout out to you being here.
My pleasure, bro.
It's only 6 p.m. for me, boys. So, like, easy one for me, but you guys are great. 457 live viewers in here right now. Shout out to every single one of you. Appreciate you. Esteban saying good day on PFL. Let's fucking go. What's up, baby shop? And we got a bunch of people joining right now. The gravy train with the biscuit wheels. All right, let's go. So we got Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. It's a weird fight. And man, these guys couldn't be further in the gene pool. I mean, this is like if you was going to make an opposite of Torres Finney, you make this skinny white ginger dude. And if you was to make an opposite of Valentin, you make this fridge-looking black dude. You know what I mean? These are like opposites of each other. I think it might show in the fight, man, because Valentin's going to be a little bit faster, a little bit slicker early. Maybe he gets him out of there because I do think that Torres Finney, I don't know, man, like he's a little bit underwhelming to me. I mean, the guy it's weird. Like, I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think that the potential may fail to be realized because of his weight and his height, but it also helps him to some degree. So I just can't get a read on him, to be honest. He came back to Dana White's Contender Series 3 times. And like, you know, the UFC are kind of having the same opinion as me. We just don't really know. We can't get a beat on him, you know? I think that Finney will probably win this fight. I think that he's going to be able to drag it late, and I do favor him a little bit in round 2 and round 3, you know, but to me, he's a little bit of a wild card. I don't know what to think about him. I don't think he looks good on the feet. I think he looks like he can be cracked on the feet. And yeah, but Valentin isn't good, man. Valentin, I don't think is good. I think Valentin's a bit of a front runner. I think Valentin will probably end up gassing out in this fight. I don't have a strong take on this one, boys. I kind of like the under or doesn't go to decision. I don't know what the price is, but I feel like Finney's probably going to end up getting the inside the distance win because Valentin ain't going to be able to keep up with him and probably has an adrenaline dump after starting hard early, because I have seen in multiple fights now, this Valentin dude, this guy can go early. And he gets his opponents in precarious positions, especially in his last fight. I kind of feel like the fight could go the same way as that one. So yeah, hopefully you guys got a stronger take than me. I don't really have much, but I feel like Finney will get it done inside the distance, ground and pound, wrestling, submission, something like that, round 2 or round 3. Liam, what do you reckon?
Yeah, man, super quick and to the point on this one. Under 2.5 is the lean for me on terms of what I would click here. I think Torres Finney is the one who's going to finish it violently. I don't think Robert Valentin is a good wrestler. I think you watched that last fight. It was literally 2 simple body locks that he got picked up and thrown by. And when he was on the ground, I didn't like his decision making. He's very aggressive. He's not very good. You watch him on the back. He's got a fully, available rear naked choke and just falls off the top. Like, I did not rate his offensive grappling very high there. He's opportunistic. He'll try and pop out on your back. Against McCrory, he kind of surprised him with a random arm, I don't even know what it was. It was like an arm lock. You know what I mean? Very low percentage type moves, but all to say, he's extremely violent. He's aggressive in all positions, whether he's on top, on bottom, on the feet. He's going to look to finish the fight. And I think Torres Finney on the other side, his striking, not very good. His power is real, and you have to contend with it. I've seen him knock people dead on the regionals. And then when you watch from the top position, the guy's extremely explosive, compact, aggressive. He's going to try and unload the clip if he gets a good position. So we saw in the last fight, Ryan Loder got one good position in round 2, and Valentin was stuck, because he does not know how to really grapple. He just knows how to move like a spaz. So I think he's a good spaz for about 6 minutes. I think after that, he's not very athletic. I think his athleticism kind of fades. And I think Torres Finney is just a better archetype for winning MMA fights in the modern UFC. So give me Torres Finney in terms of the pick. Give me the under 2.5 in terms of the play, and somebody go get finished.
JB, what do you think, bro?
Yep. I don't know how you could bet against this fridge-looking motherfucker. Finney the Fridge. That is my guy right there. 3 times he had to come on a Contender Series. They said they doubted this man. They said, you got to come back again. Oh, you got the submission? No good. The decision? No good. All right, finally you get the ground and pound knockout, and I think he's pissed off. He's here to prove a point, and Robert Valentin can't defend the wrestling. Simple as that. Finney, he can wrestle. I think it's cut and dry. Maybe it's square, but I think Finney gets it. Am I going to play a money line? No, because I think he could get cracked. But ultimately, I think he winds up getting the KO. I even think he could crack him on the feet, like my man Liam said. I wouldn't be shocked if Torres Finney got a standing knockout here. That's my call of the week.
Bang. So in terms of like parlays, money line size, whatever we're thinking, you boys take this away because I don't have a
under 2.5 minus 175.
I hear ya. Do we like anything else? Finney KO? I don't know what the line is. You guys both
plus 190. I think he could win a decision. I think he could sub him. I'm good on that.
What about the sub then? The sub should be, and I did mention wrestling, so potentially submission angle late. I don't know.
Plus 500.
I would not try and submit Valentin personally because he's kind of awkward in the grappling, whereas I would just try and smash him. We saw Loder have a ton of success doing that. And he actually made some mistakes trying to submit him, like when he was just like, I'm just going to beat this guy up. He had a lot of success.
All right. So we leave it at the under 2.5.
Fight doesn't go as like minus 210 as well. If it makes a difference to anybody, I think both of those are fine.
Yeah. Write it down anyway. Maybe someone might prefer that when we get to the end of the show. And boys, remember, when we get to the end of the show, we're going to be making these parlays. And Liam's on. That's a third guest. First time we had a guest, actually, Liam. So I don't know what we're going to do. We got a guest. We might have to make a fuck ton of parlays. I don't know,
Meant to be, bro. This is a classic episode right here. I'm just looking at the board. It's over. It's over for the bookies. Over.
Bookies gone bust, though. All right. Ode Osborne versus Louis Garuli. Liam, you want to take this one away? This is a good fight, in my opinion. I like Louis Garuli. I bet on him in Contender Series. I'm excited to see his debut.
I think this is a tricky one. I think Garula is a really good fighter, but you talked about it before, James. People making a UFC debut, sometimes they underperform. Sometimes they don't look like themselves. That's the danger here, taking on a UFC veteran in Ode Osborne, a guy who has been battle tested. But the truth about Ode, as far as I see it, is the guy is a mark on the ground. I've said it for a long time. I bet the under 2.5 with some confidence in the Jafel Filo fight. That's why I did that initial study on Falcao. It was his grappling coach. And I was like, is he going to be better, enough to stop Filo from submitting him? And I was like, no. And then when you go back and look at this guy, Asu Amabayev submits him. Like, is Asu submitting a lot of UFC level guys? No. So then you just look and say to yourself, okay, this guy is a mark on the mat. Louis Garule just wrestled position for position with a really, really, really legit D1 All-American wrestler, a guy who pinned Spencer Lee. If y'all don't know what that means, I'll just tell you, Nick Piccinini's wrestling fucking matters, and Louis Garule, his pace is incredible. The guy keeps going all night. If you don't knock this guy out, I think he's going to beat Ode Osborne. I think he's going to run away with it. Garule, round 2, 3, or decision, kind of the way I see it, man. And I honestly think he's live to win by sub. I was expecting like 12, 14-1, something nice. It sucks, so I'm not as enthusiastic about it, but I think he's going to submit.
Nice, bro. I feel like that's a bit of a hot take, man. Submission. So, yeah, I like to hear that one. And I also like to hear you give some context to the wrestling of Nick Piccinini. Apology if I said his name wrong. I bet on Garuli there, like I said already. On tape, I felt like he could maybe stuff the wrestling. I felt like he looked better, but I don't know the credentials of this guy. I'm not a wrestler, through and through, especially
two-time New York State champion, multiple-time Division I All-American for Oklahoma State University. Very good wrestler.
And that's where we can get an edge in MMA markets. You know what I mean? Like if we have these fighters that are coming in from other sports and we know those sports deeply, that's where the edge is. We need to get every edge we can get, and that's why I speak to JB a lot about certain jiu-jitsu positions, because he knows jiu-jitsu way better than me. So I'm going to ask him about certain positions. So that was good, hearing you say that about the wrestling. That shows me that Lewis is who I thought he was. And man, Ode for me he's just a bit of a flake, man. He's a guy who looks good for maybe 5 minutes and falls off a cliff. And I feel like the Charles Johnson fight was a fluke. I feel like he probably should have lost that fight on another day. And then you're talking about 12-9. I mean, it's a very, very bad record. Yes, he's fought some good guys, but he's lost to some shitty guys as well. He lost clearly round 3 to CJ Vergara, who's not a very good fighter. I mean, yeah, I think Lewis, he's making his UFC debut, but even with that captain, I think Lewis is going to run him over in round 2 and round 3. JB, bring us home, bro. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I like Garuli here. I think I like the fight doesn't go as well because I think Ode early is dangerous. He has a 7-inch reach advantage, or not even, dude, 7-inch reach advantage. So I think early in the striking, what happened?
He's making fun of me for liking Nick Piccinini more than his own mother does, but hey, I'm a fan. I am. He caught me.
New York legend, bro. But Nick Piccinini ain't no joke. And my man Garuli stood in there. You put Nick Piccinini in there with Ode Osborne, and he absolutely makes him his bitch. So I think Ode Osborne gives me quitter vibes, especially on the mat. I see him. What's the word? Liam. What is it? Starts with capitulate?
Capitulate.
Yeah,
yes,
capitulates. Sir. He capitulates. My man James, he capitulates. It's over. He's going to capitulate in this fight. And my man Louis Garuli is going to finish him. Either he's going to get the wrist ride, beat him up, or he's going to finish him with that arm triangle like he did to Jacob Silva in the regional scene. Put him to sleep with that one, too. A nasty one. And like my man Liam had kind of mentioned, I believe he was talking to me earlier in the week, and you were saying Brandon Royval really hypes this guy up. He, talks about his skills overall. He's a good striker. I do think Ode for 5 minutes is going to be live in this fight. But after that, I think Garuli's just going to break him with the pressure. So,
Ode Osborne pack incoming. I'm sorry, Glyn, but the Ode Osborne pack has already been ordered. Garuli Ode pack, Guruli round 2, round 3 coming. I just hope he doesn't get it in round 1, because boys, it's so funny. The last 2 weeks, I've been burnt betting the fight at round 2, round 3 prop when they win in round 1. Last week, David Martinez, I bet him winning round 2 and round 3. He got a win. 20 seconds left in round 1, and he gets a KO. Today on PFL, I bet Kim to win in 2 and round 3. 10 seconds left. He gets a rear naked choke. I did cash on the bets overall because I played the money line or I played the doesn't go. So I did cap it in, but fuck, it's really annoying. So I don't know whether I'm just going to play Gruely inside the distance here, because I do not. It will be brutal, if for a third week in a row I get smashed on those 2 free props. But we'll write down Gruely as probably the first chalky money line we all agree on. And then if you could give me the odds maybe for the ITD or the 2-3 or something like that, whatever you guys like.
Yeah, thanks, Liam. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've got the fight doesn't go. I think JB had mentioned.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I kind of like that as well because it gets some Ode exposure at -120. I'm seeing -130, probably a little bit more market wide. Nice. And then the round 2 and round 3 props are Garule round 2. I'm seeing like 7 and 9. Let's call it. You could probably do a little better if you shop around. I'm looking at fightodds.io for people that are wondering.
Yeah, that's fucking close. Say 700 to 900. That's really close. What about the money line, bro? Because I don't mind it. I know you
the money line is sitting around -230. Yeah, -230 best available, it seems.
Nice. Yeah, I don't hate that, to be honest.
See, it feels about accurate, if not a little bit short. So
fair enough. Yeah,
parlay show. Sometimes you gotta,
GM3.
Exactly.
This is the fucking main event of the evening, boys. JB, can you take us away on the main event, please?
Yo, I love this fight, man. I love this one. GM3, I don't know how he gets it done time and time again, bro. It's just like he pulls that out of his ass. And if this was Brad Tavares a few years ago, maybe before the Weidman fight, where I kind of thought he started to look like he was falling off, I'd be saying Brad Tavares is a smash spot here. I still think he's going to win the fight. I think his takedown defense will hold up against Gerald Meerschaert. If Gerald Meerschaert gets it to the ground, he's going to have a big advantage. I even think he could win this fight again. How he wins these fights, by round 3 submission. It happens time and time again. And Brad Tavares, man, I think he has good takedown defense, but jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu, Gerald Meerschaert, I think, is overall quite a bit better than him on the mat. And like I said, if he's getting older, it could be a problem. I do think Tavares is going to win the fight with the striking, but who's to say Gerald just can't pull it off again? I cannot bet against this guy. I cannot get a read on him. Anything I say on a Gerald Meerschaert fight, just don't listen to me, because the guy takes my money every time, and I look like a fool.
All right, so we're going to max bet GM3 then. Liam, are you joining us on the GM3 max bet or what?
Max bet would be a little strong, but I'll tell you, man, I've been a GM3 truther for a long time. I had him plus 550, I think, inside the distance against Mahmoud Muradov. How'd that one turn out for everybody? Mahmoud Muradov, the next coming, the future champion at the
Floyd
time.
Mayweather prodigy.
Exactly. The money team. If you look at GM3, why do I love this guy? 2 reasons. Number 1, he'll beat you anyway and then claim it for American Jiu-Jitsu, baby. He'll grab a hold of that neck after he just knocked it down, after he just knocked you out. He grabs it for American Jiu-Jitsu, the king of American Jiu-Jitsu. But let's talk about common opponents, guys. Bruno Silva beat Brad Tavares badly in the first round. Gerald Meerschaert beat the absolute shit out of Bruno Silva on the feet and then finished him on the mat. And people have a memory in their head that, like, he submitted him on the ground. Did he just go out there and out-grapple him? No, he beat the shit out of him, guys. It was a fist fight, right? They had fisticuffs, and he beat him up, and then when the guy fell over, he grabbed his neck out of respect, Now you look at this fight, and I say to myself, Gerald Meerschaert, a guy I've always respected as a Duke Rufus product, a guy who's slow as molasses but has his game, knows what it is, sticks to it. He did a camp with Bilal Muhammad. He did a camp putting in real work at Valley Flow Striking Academy for this camp. And for me, that tells me he's got the right idea here. He said in his interview, I want to fight 3 more years. I have no plan on being done soon. And he's like, I want to go out there, get a 3-fight win streak, get that going under my name. The way I do that is with pace, intentionality, going out there, keeping this guy working, keeping the pace high, touching him all night and trying to get to my spots, not letting it be a fight that just plays out. Set the tone, go to my spots. I was like, yeah, it's all good things. By the way, Rene de Ridder, I think, would put Brad Tavares away in the first round in the modern version of his career. So that's the way I see him, Matt. I don't think Brad is the same guy. I don't think he's got the same killer instinct. I don't think he's got the same piss and vinegar. I don't think he's a mean guy anymore. I don't think he's got any malice in his heart. I think Gerald Meerschaert, for all of the other things you could say, go look at the smile on his face when he's choking the life out of Edmund Shabazian. This guy still wants it. He still loves it. He still has that fire. I think he's going to win.
By the way, the smile on his face when he's looking at, who did you say?
Shabazian.
Okay.
Shabazian, when he started choking him, Shabazian was doing some damage. He was feeling all good about himself. Then one time you end up in the bottom position. Gerald's claiming it, baby.
Okay, so look at the smile on his face when he's wait there, boys. We got it. Look at the smile on his face when he's choking out Brad Tavares. Look at that. He's got a beautiful smile on his face. We've gone into the future. AI let us go into the future. And I got a big smile on my face too because we just cashed the Gerald Meerschaert round 3 sub. So that's it, boys. We can book it. It's cashing. I'm going to put that one. You don't even need a parlay because that's going to give you all the money you need. GM3, let's go.
Tavares pack.
So, boys, can I get some odds on the GM3 money line and then I guess sub
plus
175.
I think maybe Bet365 has a plus 188 that's kind of lingering, but most of the market's at plus 175 now. I tried to get a plus 195 this morning and it got evaporated overnight. I was disgusted.
Who is that watching? That's me, bro. That was me watching it. That was live from the future. AI brought me to the future and I saw what happened. I'm giving it out to you right now live on stream. So
dude, I saw a guy that looked like you earlier, James. I gotta see if I can find it back. But tell me, but while I'm remembering, tell me Josh Emmett does not look like Kratos from God of War. Is that not Kratos from God of War?
I don't know who that
is. I could see it.
Dude, crazy, bro. It's like a spitting image.
So, all right, we've got the money line. What's the 2-3?
2-3 for Gerald. Let's see here. Gerald, I'm in the Garule fight. My bad.
You're good.
Gerald, round 2 is 900 to 1,000.
I see plus 1,000 on FanDuel for GM3 round 2, just for what
and
it's
I'm
worth.
Seeing round 3 at a 16-1.
Yeah.
16-1 should be much. 16, that should be flipped, bro. It's coming round 3. I'm telling you, we've seen it in the future. Round 3 should be minus 100.
He did not win a single solitary second against Dustin Stoltzfus and then submitted him in the 3rd round because that's what he does, man. He's always live for the round 3.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't even know if I went on this fight. I think I did, but actually I didn't even go. I said I think he's gonna win in round 3. I mean,
you said max bet GM3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because JB went first. I mean, I'm not gonna go long on it, but basically my take is that I think that GM3 can compete on the feet here. You know, I think it's kind of close on the feet. I think Brad Tavares is way better technically, but I think GM3 has that dog in him, which counts for a lot. I think GM3 can hold punishment a little bit better as the fight wears on. I think he holds punishment worse in the 1st round because he can get dropped, he can get hurt early. But in round 2 and round 3, you see him weathering the storm a little bit better. Someone like Brad Tavares breaks down over the course of a fight. GM3 powers up the power bar over the course of a fight. So I think that we could see that take place. I've also seen Brad Tavares taken down multiple times in recent fights, and we hadn't seen that 5 years ago. You know what I mean? I bet him big against Antado Carlos Jr., and I didn't do the same in some recent fights, at least not as big. So, yeah, I feel like GM3, can catch him on the feet. I honestly do. I think he can be a club and sub. Brad Tavares is a big favorite. I think he'll win the minutes for the most part, but GM3 is not a minute fighter. He's a moment fighter. So, yeah, man, let's take it to the bank. All right, next one, Cortavius Romeos versus Chang Ho Lee, and we're getting close now, boys. Only 2 more fights after this one. I don't have a strong take on this one, so I'm going to go far. Well, I'll actually rescind what I just said because I do have a bit of a strong take. I think that the money line of Romeus was more accurate earlier in the week as a bigger underdog. I only feel like Romeus has upside in this fight to look like a favorite if he submits Chang Ho Lee. I think early, yes, his athleticism could cause Chang Ho Lee some problems. I think he could potentially land some shots on the feet. He's very athletic. He hits kind of hard. He's fast. But I don't think he has a good well put together game, man. Over 15 minutes, this guy looks kind of terrible, man. I mean, Gaston Bolanos' fight was a very, very bad look, in my opinion. He has all the skills needed to beat Gaston Bolanos. And what happens to him? He doesn't beat him. He loses at minus 250. I feel like he could get a submission here, but I think Chang Ho Lee is the well better put together fighter. I think he's got better striking over 15 minutes. I think he's smarter and better with his grappling over 15 minutes. I just feel like Romeus has some moment upside. And I think Chang Ho Lee overall over the 15 minutes will just get his game going better. I do think Romeus can submit him though. So I don't know, man. I think the way to play this is putting half a unit on Romeus sub and half a unit on Chang Ho Lee sub. I feel like a lot of this fight will be contested in the grappling because Romeus will push it there with his awkwardness, with his jankiness, and because he does have good submissions and because he will give up takedowns. So I think maybe that's the way you play it. I'm not confident in the fight overall. I can't bet on a guy like Romeus, man, because I can't trust him to win a decision at all. Yeah, like you said, man, it's just the mental's not there. The mental's not there. Maybe he gets a submission. I think it's kind of live, to be honest, but I'm not putting any money on his money line. If anything, I'll just take a poke on the submission. JB, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think round 1, round 2 is like more live for Romeus than anything. Early on, use his athleticism advantage, use what could be some grappling upside, and Chang Ho Lee, low level of competition, but you could say the same thing for Cortavius. And now you're getting a dog price on him, so it's a little bit different than betting on these big favorite price tags. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pass fight for me. Chang Ho Lee, not a guy I'm really interested in betting in either, and I think he could get finished early. Let me just go for a crazy call. I think Cortavius wins this fight via armbar, bro. I think he's going to go up because he has those slick arm bars. I could see him winding up in an attempt with Chang Ho Lee, taking the back, and I could see him even going off for an arm bar and finishing it.
Bro, I could see him getting an arm bar from bottom, bro. One of them ones where he even gets taken down. Chang Ho Lee's looking minus 400, and we can't trust this guy either, And then Romeus is obviously super athletic, super slick, spins to the side and cracks the arm. It's not impossible. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Maybe
our guy Liam back. I think our guy Liam's back.
Oh, is he here? Oh, I didn't think he was here. Shit.
Sorry, Liam. I'll be super brief on this one. I hate this fight from a betting perspective. If you forced me to make a click, it would either be, the fight not to go the distance at plus money or Romeus at plus money. I think both these guys are pretty low level. The only disagreement, I think Cortavius has fought the better level of competition. Gaston Bolanos, Ramon Taveras, Jornel Lugo, David Onama, Rodney Cotton Jr. Those are all losses where I'm like, I know the name. I recognize that guy. That's a solid guy. That guy made it to the UFC. And I just think that on the other side, I have more questions about Chang Ho Lee. So hard for me to evaluate the road to UFC guys, honestly, because I'll see them look good. And then they just look like it was a function of their opponents in some of their UFC fights. So for me, this is a wait and see fight. I probably won't have any action on this. But I don't hate the sub shout at big plus money. It's like plus 650.
Yeah. So the lease, Cortavius sub is plus 650? Yeah, so lease sub's 1,200, which is big. I don't mind that. That's good on both sides because I feel like Romeus, the only way he looks like a good bet is if he submits him. I don't think he'll look like a good bet unless he submits him. I genuinely don't.
Something interesting too. You can get the end sub at 440, maybe even higher if you look around. So if you want to get both of their equity, you sacrifice $2, but then you give yourself a little bit more. I think the club and subs live in both directions, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, man. You can't trust Romeus. If he's rolling around with you, he can submit you, but he can also get submitted. Some of the positions that I saw Gaston Bolanos reverse out of and get him in general in the grappling was not a good look. Gaston Bolanos is a through and through striker, 100% striker, and Chang Ho Lee is not. He's an MMA fighter, so yeah. But I know what you said about the road to UFC guys, man. I don't trust those guys at all, to be honest. Now, next fight, great fight. I think it's the co-main event. It is the main event, man. Co-main event. So, man, this is like Pat Sabatini, very, very good jiu-jitsu fighter. Both of you guys can speak about this one a lot more than me. So I'll let our guest take it away. Liam, please tell me about Pat Sabatini and why he's valued at plus 200 because I got a bet on him. I hope you say that.
Yeah, if I had to pick a money line side, it's Pat Sabatini here. But when we're talking about parlay madness, I think one of the lines that like just jumped out to me at the beginning of the week as representing value was the fight not to go the distance at -210. Personally, if I'm opening this, I'd have made it -400. That's my God's honest opinion of how this fight should be lined. And now it's not to say that that's going to play out every time, right? 20% of the time things happen a lot. But when you look at this fight, you have one guy in Pat Sabatini who I believe is not average in terms of his chin. It's well below average. Damon Jackson punts his head off into the first row. Jamal Emmers hurts him with the first couple of strikes that he lands in that fight. Then you look at the other fights that he's had. Diego Lopez throws him around, punches him with an uppercut. My man is literally out already, getting bounced off the ground with many more follow-up shots. That's all in the first frame. So when you look at a guy like Sabatini, he's not very durable. He's also had his arm snapped in half in a jiu-jitsu context before, right? So you look at this guy, he's a little bit fragile. Aside from that, he's an elite MMA fighter. You watch how he operates. He's very slick on the ground. You see these two guys. I talk about common opponents. When you watch Pat against JSP, big bank take little bank, easiest fight of his career. When you watch Brito against JSP, he needs to fight the ego. He doesn't have the skills to fight the man. So he starts going, making faces at him. And then he goes, get up and do something, boy, and gets submitted because he's an idiot. But no disrespect, right? Obviously, the guy's intelligent. I mean, in the fight, right? The IQ wasn't there. He's dominating the fight, allows the guy to get up, gets finished instantly. Not a good call. Then you look at Pat, though. Is Pat going to go out there and try and mix it up with this guy on the feet? I don't believe so. I think he's going to try and take his back and put him in bad positions, bad situations, not go underneath in the guard like Diego Lopes, by the way. Different story. I think Pat's going to go out there and try and submit him from the opening bell. We saw that in his last fight. He went out there with a kill mission and he got it. He made it look easy. Now you say to yourself, okay, why? Sports psychology. He has a sports psychologist that is telling him, don't go out there thinking about what could go wrong. Think about what could go right. You implement your game plan from second one. If he does that, he has a great chance to win this fight, to look like massive value, to finish him in the first round, frankly. On the other side, for every second that Pat Sabatini does not finish this guy, I think he's liable to be knocked out from second one to the very end. Fight not to go. That's the way I see it. I know Brito's never been submitted. We're talking about levels. We're talking about levels, man. I know JSP is not easy to submit until Pat Sabatini's on his back in the first round, and then it looks easy. So just saying. By the way, bet 4 units on Joe Anderson Brito plus 250 against Andre Fili. You can go back to my YouTube comment section where everybody told me I'm an asshole. Andre Fili's going to fuck him up. Easiest parlay leg of the card. And then Brito embarrassed him, right? With his hands. He comes out swinging. He's got knockout power. Dangerous guy. But I was there as well when Bill Algeo out-grappled him summarily over the course of 15 minutes. That's unacceptable. And Pat Sabatini would do bad things to him. So just leave it at that.
JB, what do you reckon, bro?
Yeah, Bill Algeo, another East Coast legend in the grappling scene, but he ain't no Pat Sabatini. Marquez MMA. We just saw our guy Sean Brady do it a few weeks ago. Now, if this is on the feet, it's going to be a problem. Hooks, uppercuts, all that. Going to be flying from a guy like a tank like Brito, Sabatini's way. And we've seen Sabatini rock before. But if this guy gets to the top half guard position, the amount of pressure that he's able to apply is black belt level. It's a different, kind of strategy. We watched him. I know it was Nico Price, but go watch his Fury or UFC PI grappling match where he goes out there, short hook, long hook, Sulev stretch, takes his lunch money in. Let's not act like Nico Price out here getting submitted by everybody. I believe Liam was talking about this earlier this week. Only other guy to submit Nico Price in MMA, I believe, is Vicente Luque, and we know how nasty that guy's front headlock series is. But end of the day, you let this guy get a hold of your head and arm, it's going to be a wrap. You let this guy wrap his, get that backpack series going, it's going to be a wrap. And I think Joe Anderson Brito is in for a long night if he lets Pat Sabatini get the grappling going. Different level, like my man Liam said, and I'm with him all the way on this one. Give me Pat Sabatini to get the job done. I think he wins via submission. Rear naked choke in round. I'm going to say round 1.
Pat gonna take that back pat, and he's gonna go nap. Let's fucking.
And we got smoke that. Pack. Let's go.
Pack, because we cashed that. Pat, what's the line, bro?
Pat is plus 200 at least.
Woo!
At least.
Yeah, I'm bet online.
I'm seeing as high as plus 208, plus 205s out there.
Okay.
I will say, because we spoke a lot about the rear naked choke. We spoke a lot about ITD. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that he built Algio's him and wins a decision. Very, very different fight. I just mentioned this because he did lose a decision mainly via grappling, right? But Pat doesn't rush things. That's what I will say. Now, look, if the opportunity's there, he's going to fucking cinch it up. But Pat is very, very patient. We remember that, like, even the JSP fight, like, he worked from the back. He did well. He took it when it was available to him. But he's not rushing things. He's not falling off the side. He's not really trying to. I mean, he's a high level grappler. If you're a high level grappler, you don't rush things. It's just not what you do. That is literally jiu-jitsu. Ain't rushing anything. Smart. We take it when it's available, right? And I do think there is a chance that Pat is just grappling this motherfucker, and maybe Brito's staying safe. He's very athletic. He's strong. He's got, his build is compact. It's kind of hard to submit and get your hands around the neck, etc. And I do think he can just outmaneuver him, outgrapple him, because he is a higher level than him. Don't forget that Almeida fight, he wasn't really close to finishing him until he did finish him. He took his time in that fight, very slow, very methodical. And yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening. Remember Pat Sabatini when he took on Tucker Lutz? There was no submission in that fight. That was a 3-round domination. He never put himself in any danger. He didn't go for any crazy subs that lost in position. He was calm and methodical. And I do think we could see that here. So Pat Sabatini at points line at 600 is not crazy to me. But I guess more often than not, it will probably be sub. But yeah, I like the money line because I do think the points is live. So I just want to mention that for the people there. So yeah, we like the Pat Sabatini money line. What are we putting anything else in here?
We just disagree about the fight not to go. That's my favorite look on this one, but
totally up to you guys. I'll write it down anyway, and then maybe you use it for your parlay leg. That's what we do on the show. So like anything you want to write down, even if I don't agree, just let me know, because maybe you could use it and not me. So Sabatini versus Brito doesn't go. Like what line is that?
It's about -210 best available. That may have changed, but let me just double check. That was what it was earlier today when I looked. And I saw it on Caesars for anybody who's looking for a specific book.
It'd be a lot easier if he submits him. If not, it's going to start on the feet every round, and he's at risk.
That's my whole thing. Like Tucker Lutz, for example. I don't think Tucker Lutz is very dangerous. I think Joe Anderson Brito is one of the most dangerous featherweights in the division. So that's my my only difference in opinion here. But I also think Pat is just like, he goes out there. He's had a couple of control-based fights, and I think that was in part a lack of confidence. I think he was trying to build himself up. I think the Pat that we saw last time fought more like an assassin. So we'll see.
Yeah, I also do think that, if it goes late, Brito slows down, man. And he does not have the pop he does in round one. A lot of these brutal knockouts we're seeing are in round one. JSP was round two. That was a ninja choke. You know what I mean? That ain't no crazy, like, highlight reel hook. So I honestly think after 7.5 minutes, the danger factor goes down a lot. So if this fight is in round 3, I don't think Brito's getting a knockout, honestly. So yeah, but that's what I'll just say, to counter that one a little bit. But we're all on the Pat Sabatini money line. I don't know if we all played it, but we all like it. So hopefully
combined, they have one career round 3 finish between the two guys. So I actually bet the under 2.5 because I think that if it doesn't materialize by then, it's probably not going to happen.
So what's the under 2.5 in terms of line? It might be better.
So I got the under 2.5 at -150. I will check what it is at right now. I think it's gone. I know that the fight doesn't go as actually run from -210 on Caesars to -260, and they moved the under 2.5 to an under 1.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's 2.5 still like outside of Caesars, right? Let me check.
I think -177 was the best I had seen. Let me see if it's still available now.
For the 2.5, yeah.
Yep, -177 on Bet Rivers. Seems like the best available. DraftKings is -200. ESPN bet -210. So yeah, it seems like -170 is decent. Let me see if Jersey has a better line. Bet 365 normally has decent totals. Yeah, Bet 365 -160 to the under 2.5.
All right, then I'll put 177. It's about in the middle, so that's fair. People can get it. And that's it. That's the main event of the evening now. Thank you everyone for being here. 565 live viewers. I know a lot of people should be sleeping right now, but you are not. You're here with us. So hopefully we've done the best we can for you to give you some killer analysis. Shout out one more time to our guest, Liam Picks Fights. And also shout out to my man, co-host JB. Make sure you go and show them love on the socials. That's at MMA Jewish Better, I believe. He changed it from line mover, bro. I don't know if you don't move any lines anymore, but you're confusing me. MMA Jewish Better. And then, Liam Picks Fights, at Liam Picks Fights on IG and Twitter. And that's it, man. I guess, Liam, do us the honor, please.
Tell me that's not Josh Emmett right there, bro.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Emmett still.
Hey, listen, James, I hate to do this because I know Lerone Murphy is an Englishman, but I don't love this price tag for Lerone Murphy, man. I've been a Lerone Murphy guy in terms of I believe in him as a top guy. Like, he's going to be around the division. He's a serious fighter. He's got skills in all positions. Not an easy win for anybody. But on the other side of things, I think Josh Emmett is a guy that deserves respect at the window. Like, you just watch what the guy's done. He's one of the most prolific underdogs in the history of this division, 40 years of age. Everything could go off a cliff. But when you look at what he looks like physically, he looks like a specimen. He looks like he was designed in a laboratory. So I think the same thing about Lerone, right? Two guys that are both looking like they're in great shape, looking like they're both highly motivated. The one difference is, if you were trying to look for a quote from UFC history for Josh Emmett, when he knocks people out, they don't fucking move. And when you look at Lerone Murphy, I've never seen him do that to somebody except Makwan Amirkhani with a reactive knee in a fight he was losing. So when I look at these two guys, I just think the more dangerous guy with one shot at a time is Josh Emmett. And we've seen he can get outlanded over 25 minutes and win by landing power shots. He did that against Calvin Kattar. I bet him as a dog there, plus 200. So Pat Sabatini, 3-0 as a dog for a massive over 100% ROI to all y'all people shitting on him in the chat. Josh Emmett, one of the only guys more productive than that. So when you look at it, all I look at is how people perform, what they do relative to the odds and expectations. And last time out, I'll tell you the truth, I thought Bryce Mitchell was going to clean him up. I was like, he's too old. It's over. And he put him on a highlight reel and sent him back 500 decades. So when you think about a guy like this, he's got the power to kill anybody. He's got the power to go out there and fight. He's not afraid to fight for 25 hard minutes like he did with Ilya. Where is the easy matchup that should be minus 3XX in this one? I don't see it. So for me, it's a dog or pass situation. I lean towards the unders as well. Because how does somebody at 40 look if the fight starts getting going and they start landing big shots? Like, I think Emmett could go down. He got knocked out in 2018, right? He's a man at the end of the day. But on the other side, Lerone Murphy almost got knocked out his last fight against Dan Ige. I bet Josh Emmett against Dan Ige. I bet Dan Ige against Lerone Murphy. For me, that's the cap.
I like it, bro. I like it. I like the passion. And I definitely agree with a lot of what you said. JB, what do you think on this one, bro? It's a good fight.
Yeah, like we always say, the last thing to go is the power. And he did literally put this man, Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell has not been the same. He's been hating on my people since Emmett put him down and had him up on the mat. They had to scrape Bryce Mitchell off the mat. And you know what? At the end of the day, I do think he could bonk him, but the rubber has to meet the road at some point. He's 40 years old. Lerone Murphy could be the guy to do it. I do think he put a whooping on Barboza. That was one of the better performances I had seen. Maybe you think Barboza's just, way past that, over the hill, but it's possible Emmett's at that point. I actually took a sprinkle on this fight. It's my, what's our guy, Narco Cop? This is the whisper bet of the week right here. I got the whisper bet. Lerone Murphy by submission. I took plus 2,000. Round 3 submission plus 90 to 1. Right now it's 90 to 1. Round 4 sub 100 to 1. And round 5 sub 110 to 1. I got a little bit better than that, but I still think those numbers are off. He locked up the Darce against what's his name, Kulabau. He was trying to rear naked choke Kulabau after hurting him with the body kick. Guillotine attempts against Zubera Tukugov. He's had top control in these fights, and Emmett has been subbed as of recently via the triangle. It's not like he's an amazing jiu-jitsu player, and like you said, he could just be he's past his prime. So I think Lerone Murphy's live to finish in this fight 3-4-5. Why can't it just be a club and sub for the crazy number? Let's go. I know I didn't whisper there, but
unreal numbers, man. Crazy numbers. Josh Emmett is tough as old boots. We saw that in the Topuria fight. Topuria grappled him a little bit, took him down, basically did what he wanted with him, but he was trying to box that motherfucker up. He was hurting him with shots. The most recent finish on Josh Emmett's career, Yair Rodriguez, submission, triangle choke. Not amazing to be submitted off your back by Yair Rodriguez, the Taekwondo kickboxer. So, man, why can't Murphy do it? I also believe that after 5 rounds, like the accumulation of damage will start to wear to Josh Emmett. The head becomes a little bit more available. The reaction times are slower. Man, I like that club and sub look. I honestly do. I like the unders in this fight, boys. My prediction of the fight is Lerone Murphy inside the distance. But I think the line is too wide. I think that Josh Emmett KO is very live here. I mean, how can it not be? We've seen Lerone Murphy dropped multiple times in the UFC. It wasn't just Dan Ige. It wasn't just Dan Ige. This guy's been wobbled, hurt, dropped in multiple fights in his career. It just seems like you can't kill him, though. You definitely can't kill him because I don't know if you boys know this, but this guy got hit while he was cycling back in the day on by a van or a car. He got smashed on the ground. He was meant to die. He was in hospital for a couple of weeks. He survived it. A couple of years later, he gets shot in the head multiple times, shot in the head, and survives it. Was in the hospital for weeks. Like, you can't kill this guy. So I know Josh Emmett has sledgehammers for hands, but a van going 50 miles an hour and 4 bullets, couldn't kill Lerone Murphy. So I don't know if a sledgehammer is going to do it. He might do, though, because, the guy probably hits hard as a bullet. And you only have 9 lives, and Lerone Murphy, apparently, if you add in the Tahugov fight, if you add in the Ige fight and the times he's been shot, this guy's probably on his 9th life already, So, yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, boys. I do kind of lean the under because we've seen Murphy hurt, and I also think 40 years old shit can happen. I like the club and sub. I think I just have to play the submission on principle, JB. Plus 2,000 is insane, in my opinion. It's a 5-round fight. He's been sub before. He's tough as fuck. I actually favor a sub over TKO, maybe. I think it's close. I have to play those on principle. And, man, you're talking 100 to 1s and shit now. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we're gamblers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we tried to portray, we need to be smart, bet on the best spots. But if you give me a fucking 100 to 1, I'm putting $100 on
That's
it, bro.
What I'm saying,
you know what I'm saying, bro? It's 100 to 1. Let's stop trying to portray this bankroll management is enough. Boys, I'm only joking. But at the end of the day, 100 fucking to 1. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take a lot for me to bet 100 to 1, even with $10, $20. So, yeah, I think my prediction will be ends inside the distance, Lerone Murphy to get it done. But I could see Josh Emmett getting the KO here. So, yeah. I think we all agree on ends ITD for the props. Anything else you want to add? Let me know.
Yeah, I'm getting shitted on in the comments. But go ahead and watch that Yair fight. He literally puts himself in a triangle, and then, go ahead, Liam.
Oh, you're muted, Liam.
Mute. Yo, Liam, you're on mute, bro.
It's not working. Your microphone's not working. I don't know why. Maybe disconnect and reconnect.
The bookies, bro. It's the bookies, bro. The bookies are trying to get us.
They heard the word whisper bet and they
bookies are trying to get us, bro.
Liam about to drop that sauce.
The ends ITD. Liam will have all the best lines. I have a line. Plus one.
What is it?
Plus 122. I see on.
What about on the 4.5?
Plus 138. Not much of a difference.
Probably plus 122 is better, right? You never know, man.
Yeah. Let's see if Liam gets up. We might have a better line than this.
I was hoping to get like better odds than that, because I think it got hit a little bit. Because, Murphy's more of a decision guy.
He is.
Yeah, so I was hoping, especially because he's a minus 300, you would think that they would favor the decision, but the bookies are onto it. I think plus money is good enough for me because I'm overall predicting it too. And Josh Emmett is always going to have a chance to fucking end ITD, man. So I like that one.
Yo, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're back, bro. You're back.
I hit a button on my microphone that I've never hit before. There's always room for something new. I was trying to say he's from the Blagoy Ivanov School of Self-Defense, man. This guy, Lerone Murphy, can't kill him, but fight not to go, that's what I like. I like that.
Let's go, bro. So I don't know if we're definitely not putting Murphy in any parlays. We probably won't put Emmett because he's such a big underdog. Ends ITD. I mean, I don't want to put fucking Murphy sub in a parlay either. So that might just have to
no
be
way. That's a separate bet. But that's
that's
the Jewish better fucking wacky Fucking, he literally had a tight dart. So I could see the reaction on Kulabao's face. He like literally was like grimacing.
Yeah. All right, man. So that's it. We have ended the show, but we're at the best part of the show now. So we're about to make these motherfucking parlays. So I think this is how we do it, right? We do one parlay for the Lou. We'll do one parlay for the Jew. And then we'll do one parlay for the Lie. And then we do a combo parlay. And I think we call it maybe one leg each for the combo parlay.
Well, yeah. Anybody got a name in the Lujulium? The Lujulium.
Yeah, I know. I don't. It's hard to do the name, man. The Lou and the Jew just got a ring to it, but we need the. I don't know, man. We'll think of one. New York, Lou, Jew, and
the
New.
Lou, the Jew, and the Irishman too.
All right, there we go. Liam's made it. The Lou, the Jew, the Irishman too combo parlay. So, Liam, take us away for the first parlay of the night, bro. Because you're our guest, so the floor is yours now. The pressure's on. Everybody's watching. 600 live viewers on the dot. What do you want to go?
All right, let's do it then. Let's cook, as they say. I'm going to go with a violence parlay to keep this one really simple. I'm going to go fight not to go the distance on Sabatini and Brito. I really like that one. I'm going to go with the main event, not to go the distance. These are both at Bet Rivers. So minus 240 on the first one, plus 123 on the Murphy and Emmett fight. And then let's go with Torres Finney and Robert Valentin. Let's see if I could find the under 2.5 minus 190. So I'm just looking for a price here.
Minus 175 if you want it, because we already read it. Do you remember? So we've got minus.
Yeah, but he's saying like on one book, right? Like it have to be. On
yeah, exactly. I was trying to find parlay odds from one book.
Good man. Good man.
And let's see here. So we've got 3 legs with the under for Torres Finney, and then we'll make the last one. Barbosa and Belbita fight not to go the distance. Runs the about plus 680, plus 700, something like that. So we're just getting violent up in here.
You're swinging, bro. You're swinging. I like it, bro. That's what Parlay Madness is about. We can't be being pussy. We need to bring some madness, and you brought the madness. So can you just tell me the odds, because you got them all from one book? It's not the same as what I have here. So if you
got it. So it's plus 123 on the Murphy fight not to go the distance. Minus 240 you got perfect. The Finney under 2.5 I actually don't have a perfect analog for. I just knew that minus 190 was like a rough equivalent, so I used that to generate the odds. And then let me see if they have it here though. Just for the sake of simplicity. And then the last one was from Bet Rivers, minus 162 on the fight not to go the distance for Dione Barbosa and Diana Belbita. So that last line for you is here. Let's see, the under 2.5, minus 190. Perfect. So, yep, the exact odds would be plus 680.
Bang. Liam coming in with a bang. I like that one, bro. You took a couple of the legs I wanted to smash, but it's all good. We can double up. We might have to double up since we got 3 man here. Jew, why don't you take this one away, bro? I think I went first a lot. Well, whoops.
That's all right, bro. I'll start
to replace the Jew, bro. No.
Thanks, bro. Would you be able to scroll up for me so I could see some of the parlay looks?
All right, and boys, if you, anyone in the chat, if you want to help us out, please tell us. We'll have a look.
Yes, bro. I'm gonna go with Garuli money line.
Nice. Yes, sir.
I guess if you guys want to, we should find a book maybe that they're all on, but I'll go.
I can make for you as we go if you want.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I'll go with the fight doesn't go in the McKee fight minus 160. What does that get me right there? Let's see.
So let's say Garule and the fight doesn't go in the McKee fight.
Just tell me odds, Liam, as we go along.
Yep. So Garule looks like minus, let's say 260 best available. That looks good. And then which was the fight you wanted not to go the distance?
McKee versus Frunza.
McKee and Frunza. Okay. So McKee and Frunza fight not to go. Let's call it minus 162. That's on Bet Rivers. So right now we've got a plus 124 parlay working on Bet Rivers.
All right. Then I gotta go one more. All right, let me see it again. All right, Santos money line minus 140. Bang.
Santos money line. All right, I'm gonna add that. And tell you what your final run out is.
Plus 284. Oh, well, I guess you have to get the odds, right?
Yeah, for one book at least. Plus 268 is what I got.
Plus 268. What's the odds on Santos?
Santos was minus 155.
Okay.
Minus 155.
Okay.
All right. Nice. Lou keeping it smart. Lou's turned the corner, you know. He used to be crazy. You know, when we started this show, Lion, like Lou used to literally, I mean, Jew used to.
Bro, I'm Jew. You're Lou. I'm Jew.
I know, I forgot, bro. We switched places. But the minimum odds, the Jew parlay was like plus $1 million, you know, and now he's turned the corner. We're trying to be a bit smarter. And now he's turned the other way. The maximum odds are like plus fucking 400 these days.
Almost a Lambo play.
Yeah, almost. All right, so, but there's a fuck ton of Lambo plays up here, to be honest, boys. So, you know, these are little fun parlays we make, but at the end of the day, the best part of the show, you know, is the value we bring in the analysis. So we hit a fuck ton of these, I'm sure. The parlay is a little bit tougher because we're adding them all together. But anyway, boys, it's my one. So let's see what we want to go with. All right. A lot of them are taken. I think I might have to double up on a couple. I do like the Barbosa under 2.5. So I'm going to put that one in. I think it's honestly probably better than even a dozen go. So I'll cut the price down a little bit. I'll go to under 2.5. I might. Oh, fuck it. I'll go Garule fight doesn't go to decision as well. That's coming in at a double minus 120. You can tell me the actual price that you have, Liam, though, because I can change it.
Okay, so let me see what the best books are for these. So we've got the under 2.5. Sorry, fight odds is the one that has a good parlay calculator, but they also have like 3 events in the middle of the UFC event. It's like 4 fights, then another big block. So bear with me 1 second here.
All good, bro. I'm scanning for the next leg.
I didn't even know you could do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, parlay calculator. Tick the box.
I got a minus 130 to the under 2.5.
Okay.
And then the other leg was what was the other leg?
Garule fight doesn't go to decision.
Okay, got you.
Sure.
Garule fight not to go the distance. Okay. I got a minus 136.
All right, cutting down the profits a bit now, so I definitely have to come with a last one. So the last leg, fuck, I kind of want to put that Loma one in there, but
yeah,
I kind of want to put the Loma plus 190, but like it's more predicated on Loma winning, and I made a big case for the plus 500. So, but I don't want to get suckered in, man. I don't want to get suckered in by the plus 500 when I could take a plus 190, which I'm actually predicting to happen. You know, whereas I'm not really predicting Nunes to get the decision. So. Fuck, I think Loma should really finish this bitch on the mat, man. But I don't know. It's either going to be
Well,
Loma.
you would have the biggest odds parlay of us all if you go with that Loma one. Right now, you're sitting on plus 790 with those 3 legs. If you take the plus 190, fight doesn't go.
So, boys and chat, I need some help here. I need some help. So these are, I'm either going to go with GM3 plus 175. Nunes and Loma doesn't go plus 190.
No,
or
Sabatini.
Who?
Sabatini.
Sabatini's there as well. Yeah, or Sabatini
like
plus
300. Yeah.
Sabatini, GM3, or Nunes and Loma. When we do the combo parlay, do you guys want to use any of those, or you're not going to use those? Because if you are, I'll go with like another one. So it's Nunes,
whatever.
Loma.
It's probably going to be whatever one you don't use. I'm gonna use, bro. So just
Sabatini, GM3, or Nunes and Loma. What, like, would you guys use any of those 3 in the combo one?
I'd think about it, yeah.
I do. I like that Loma fight not to go. Like I've liked that on instinct since I saw it. The GM3 one I think is a plus EV look as well. Pat, I'm a little bit. Pat, I think is a value bet, but like if I was parlaying, I would not want Pat in my parlays, if you know what I mean, because that could just be a sad, fast ending.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I thought. Like even when I made the bet, when I do my write-ups and stuff, I'm gonna be like, boys, like I could look stupid here in 30 seconds here. You know, I mean, it's already happened against Jackson and Lopez. So yeah, I don't know. All right, so you like the Nunes Loma one? So maybe I'll leave that one. So then it's really between Sab and GM3. Fuck this, man. GM3, I've already gone to the future and seen GM3 sub him in round 3. How the fuck can I not put that in a parlay? That's crazy. That's literally a lock. I'm definitely banging that one in. All right, Liam, you can get the GM3, the real line. I don't know what it is at the moment, but that's the one I'm going with.
I got you. So we got a 747. We are taking off on a flight, James. We're out of here. Woo! We've got plus 176, Gerald Mearshart. The last leg.
Okay.
Bang. 3-leg parlay plus 747. Get on the plane.
Let's fucking go. We're getting on the plane, but then, we all know each other through Twitter at the end of the day. So shout out to Elon Musk. We're going to get on a rocket in a minute because the combo parlay is going to be the mad one. That's what we do. We try. I don't know if we kind of did that this week, but we try to go a little bit more conservative on these ones. Hopefully give the people something to cash. I mean, Jew went super conservative.
How did that happen?
My man's all the way on the right wing with how conservative that is. But then Lion went a bit crazy. I went a bit crazy. But the combo parlay is kind of where we all meant to go a little bit crazy. But I don't want to force it. So Liam, Lion, take it away, bro. What do you want to put in this combo parlay?
Here, can we scroll up to the to our options real quick? Because now I'm gonna go balls to the wall. We're gonna take a risk. We're gonna take a chance. Columbus did.
Let's go.
Man, you know what? This is tricky.
Always is, bro.
I'm going to go with GM3 round 3, 16-1.
Woo!
Fuck it. If we're getting on a rocket, let's get on a fucking rocket, gentlemen.
All right, you know what?
I love it.
You know what? I'm going to fucking have to do it as well. Garule round 3 plus 900.
Holy shit.
Are you going to make it Loma round 3 for the...
Bro.
Yeah, we have to do a round 3, right?
Yeah.
And my only options are Henry, Loma, and Vanessa. I have to go with Loma, right?
I would go with Loma of those 3 because the one thing you know for sure is Estela Nunes. If it's in round 3, Loma's on top of her. She's going to be looking for that way out.
Oh, my God. This is crazy, brother.
Done. Bang.
There it is.
I've never seen a parlay of that magnitude.
Undefeated, undisputed, never lost a round. That's what this parlay is. All right, I'm gonna lock these up together. Let's see what we got here, gents.
Oh my Lord.
We've got Loma round 3, 13-1.
Yeah.
We've got Mearshart round 3, 16-1. We're already at 23-7 and a couple zeros.
Yeah, I think.
And the last one is Garule round 3.
Wow.
We're gonna grab 800 on that, and our total parlay is plus 2141 double zeros.
Well, I don't even know what the fuck number that is.
I think you could get it for better on FanDuel if I'm not mistaken. I think you could get plus 237,900.
For Garule round 3, Mearshart round 3, and Luke Boonme round 3?
Yeah. Because Garule.
Are you sure they're all from FanDuel? Because I thought I just grabbed all those.
Maybe I could be wrong. You're probably right, bro. You're probably right.
I could be wrong though too.
No,
y'all do your own research. Go to Best Fight Odds and put them 3 bitches in there.
Knowing me on the show, you're probably right.
Just one more time, Liam. Please.
So my screen is saying plus 2141 double zeros, and we had 13, 16, and 8-1 respectively.
Nice.
You have to, when you say it in the individual digits, 21, 41, 00, that's when you know the odds are crazy.
It's a long shot.
Bro, 25 wins 53,500.
You know what I think I would recommend to people as well? People that are like more casual. If you want to put a sprinkle on these kind of bets, I would always encourage you, look for a round robin if your house offers that. So that way you're betting a small amount, but that way if you get 2 of these, you're not crying in your coffee because you ain't have nothing to come home with after that, right? So that's just something that I've learned after years of doing this. If you're on a long shot, if you're looking to do a parlay or whatever, you might want to consider the round robin as well, because if you believe they were plus EV legs, you're getting plus EV anyway. So just something to think about.
But boys, I think we will cry if one of these round 2 hits. So is there a way we can do it where we also play the round 2 for all 3 guys? It's going to be a lot of fucking combinations though. But I think that's how many bets is that? That would be
6, 5 maybe.
6 or 8.
Might be 5.
Or I've got an idea here. Let me see what this builds out to, because I don't want to nuke it too much. But what if we look at the ITD for all 3 fighters? So that way we get all their finishing equity.
We split that. That's a good idea. We'll split that. So we do a combo parlay pussy version, and we split that.
I like that.
Yeah. So let's say Loma ITD. What does that run us? Loma ITD. I'm seeing a plus 190. So this build's going to be on DraftKings just for the sake of simplicity.
Shit, you
then
get
we have
go for plus 190, I think.
But yeah, you're so right about that. Yeah, fuck Loma. Sorry, Loma, you're out.
No, you're good.
We're gonna go instead.
Can you guys play the 2-3? Because that's really what we want. Round 2/round 3. You guys can play that.
I think it's only in FanDuel, New Jersey, and a couple places that you could do that. So they have it, but I don't have access to it personally. Let me see here. What does this build to? So we've got Garule ITD or Fight Not to Go. Let's see what the difference is between them. Garule ITD is like plus 115, plus 120, something like that. And then let's say the last one is GM3 ITD. So GM3 ITD is plus 275. So yeah, this still builds to well over 20-1, plus 2,238.
And you just hope 2 of them get it in round 3, and you're golden.
Exactly.
You're rich if they all fucking get it. You're rich. You're rich. Thank you. You're welcome. You're rich.
Sorry, boy.
Plus 214100. I've never seen a round 3 parlay. Crazy.
I know. Free round 3 as well.
3 for 3. There's some serendipity in that.
I think the combo parlay has a good chance, but I could see 2 of them getting it. I could see all 3 getting it in round 3, bro. But the bookies might come and kill us after.
$25 makes 53 grand. You said.
Yeah.
I have to go $100 on that shit.
Oh shit, bro! You'd be rich.
3 grand. I want 212 or some shit. So, what's the odds for this one? Sorry.
If you add all of them up, you got it, Liam?
For the 3 combination, it's plus 2238.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some shekels on that.
Okay, easy. Yeah, that's a fucking big parlay. All right, so that's it, boys. Boys, we won't keep you any longer. We've gone 2 hours. I appreciate you guys. You probably need to hit the sack as well. You're out there on the East Coast. So shout out to everybody who has watched. We got 618 live viewers. We'll hit a couple of thousand as well on YouTube. So appreciate everyone watching. I sincerely do. You know, we had a good PFL event and come back to give you the sauce. So please go and follow the guys, my co-host, MMA Jewish Better. He's got his show, So Money, and a bunch of other stuff on YouTube and Twitter. And then we got Liam Picks Fights, who also has his own show on YouTube and a bunch of other stuff on Twitter. Both their Patreons, everything you can shout out yourself. Our guest, Liam, take it away first, brother.
I appreciate you both very much. It's a pleasure. I'll just let you guys know when I'm not on the air, I'm talking to my guy JB anyway, picking up the phone. Hey man, how are you? What do you think about these fights? So nothing new there in terms of that connection. And me and James been doing this stuff for a long damn time. We've been doing this content game for a long time. So it's always a pleasure when we get to do another collaboration. My brother from another. Have to have you back on the show, Bets and Banter as well, my friend. But always, guys, you can find me everywhere at Liam Picks Fights. I appreciate the support. God bless and good luck each and every time. And I'll be back next week doing it all again, win or lose.
Let's go. JB, take us home, brother. Thanks for coming on as usual. Shout out to Matzo Money, everything else you want to say. And yeah, thanks for being on, bro.
Doesn't even matter what the outcome is, bro. This is the best episode of Parlay Madness ever, bro. I say it every time. But now I'm hyped. I'm geeked. My man Liam was on here. I'm geeked, brother. I'm geeked. Let's go. Hopefully we can make it happen.
Love, boys. Let's fucking cash them this week. Round 3.